You're listening to Kickoff Live on Talksport with Ladbrokes, 18 plus, gambleaware.org. Sprinklers are on the pitch, players are off the pitch. We've got 10 until kickoff. Brighton taking on Bournemouth tonight. It's a Bournemouth without Semenyo, but Danny Murphy, it's not just Semenyo missing, David Brooks is missing as well. And Sam and I have just said to each other off air that when you look at that 11 for Bournemouth, where are the goals coming from in that side? Where's the creativity? Where's the goals that could possibly win them this game tonight?
Well, Krupi's obviously done okay. He scored a few goals. He looks a threat. Adley has had moments. I've seen him have some good moments. And, of course, Evan Nielsen is capable. He's not had his best season, far from it. But more recently he's been better and found the net a couple of times. So they have got a threat. And they'll certainly create chances. The problem for them is more transitions. When they bomb people forward and they lose the ball, they're wide open. It'd be interesting to see if they carry on doing that, because their away form's been woeful.
Can we talk about Evan Nielsen? And you can't say he's been a failure.
No.
But as a big signing for Bournemouth, he's not been the success that they'd hoped he would be. Is that fair to say?
I suppose it depends on what... I mean, this season, yes. I thought last season he did well. The expectation can only be so high for a forward you bring into Bournemouth. I think the expectation for any striker in a team that's not in the top six can only be so high. You know, if you're getting 10 goals plus, then that's about where you should be.
Semenyo's got 10 for Bournemouth already in the Premier League this season, and that's by January.
I know, but that's why he's got to move for 60 million.
Isn't this what they were expecting of Evan Nielsen, though?
Maybe. He has missed a few part of this season, hasn't he, with an injury, but... I hear you, yeah, maybe they'll be a tad disappointed, but if he'd have carried on with the form he started with at Bournemouth, he'd have probably been gone as well.
Well, he had a purple patch, didn't he, over December and sort of the early part of March and April last year, when he came back from injury after a bright December. But really and truly, his goals have been pretty much coming in clutches. He's got 3 in his last 6, but he only had 1 in 16 before that. 4 goals this season in a Bournemouth shirt, probably not enough. 12 last campaign in all competitions. Look, they need goals from somewhere. They need him to step up and fill the void, because Antoine Semenyo obviously contributed a hell of a lot of a percentage of their output.
I suppose you could argue that from a manager's perspective, you have to sometimes use what you've got. And if you don't have the same goal threat and the same amount, or you take away your biggest goal threat, and then you know that the other players around aren't particularly reliable, then maybe you have to set up a bit more defensive and pick your moments.
I would say as well, we could compare Iriola's response to Semenyo going to Glasner's response to losing Gay. Iriola has said players already at the club need to step up. He was asked about bringing in replacements for Semenyo, and he said, yeah, they're working on bringing in a replacement. They might sign 2, 3 or 4. He said probably going to sign 3 players in this window. But he also added, and he was clear on this, that players already at the club need to step up, and I think that's got to be a positive way of dealing with losing a top player.
Well, even if he doesn't quite believe it, it's still the right thing to say, because those players hearing that then think, I'll be that guy, give me that shirt, I'll do it, rather than he doesn't think I'm good enough and all he's doing is whinging about where's my players that can be, who can I have brought in, like who they're going to bring in for me, are they going to spend this money? There's none of that. Exactly the way you should talk.
Bournemouth are in the final stage of agreeing a move for Ferencváros midfielder Alex Toth, 12 million euros plus add-ons, highly rated by Robbie Keane, who's a big fan of him. He's a defensive midfield player. I mean, it's the kind of recruitment that fits the model at Bournemouth, isn't it? Buying someone young, hungry, desperate to prove a point.
Oh, I like what you did there.
And unintentionally. And Ryan Christie back in training with the squad in the next couple of weeks as well, which is going to be
on the bench,
really back in training with the squad in the last couple of weeks. On the bench tonight, important for them.
Is he on the bench tonight?
Did you like that? A little bit of a reversal of fortune.
Whoa.
And
he's been running around the tunnel for half the day.
He was there for 3 minutes.
And you're still recovering from yesterday's long show with not many goals.
And your mouse issues.
He's had mouse issues as well.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Don't talk to me about that mouse.
Are you actually okay?
The right pest.
Are you going to be all right for the game?
Yes.
He's fit to go. The teams are on their way out from that tunnel that Sam knows very well. Tomorrow it's Champions League, Man City, Spurs and Arsenal, all live across Talksport and Talksport 2. I was at Spurs for Game Day Live Saturday. That was an experience. I'll be back at Spurs for the visit of Borussia Dortmund tomorrow night. Join me for kick-off from 7 on Talksport. Hopefully at half-time this evening, we're going to be hearing from Thomas Frank on Talksport. In fact, definitely at half-time this evening, we will be hearing from Thomas Frank, so stand by for that. Tonight it's Premier League, live and exclusive. Brighton have won one Premier League game since November. Bournemouth have won one Premier League game since October. Time to get your act together. Brighton Bournemouth, live and exclusive on Talksport with former England midfielder Danny Murphy, alongside your commentator Sam Matface.
Well, after a weekend of missteps in the title race, VAR controversy, managerial meltdowns and rebirths, the spotlight falls on the South Coast as Brighton host Bournemouth in a rivalry that has climbed the English football ladder side by side. Well, this is their 14th meeting in the top flight. Don't forget the roots of this fixture. These sides battled 92 times in the third tier, 8 times in the Championship before reaching the promised land of the Premier League. Both clubs have flirted with oblivion. Brighton near the drop from the Football League in 1997. Bournemouth a little bit more recently than that, back in 2009. Yet last season marked a historic high where both finished in the Premier League's top 10 for the first time. Tonight, however, is about arresting slides. Brighton have won just one of their last 8 league games, stumbling through another winless December under Fabian Hürzeler. Bournemouth arrived desperate to cure a travel sickness which has seen them winless in 8 away trips and shipping goals for fun. It's a South Coast battle that, because of the nature of the Premier League, actually has European ambitions laced to it. It does feel a very long way from the fierce League One scraps of old, but Brighton in particular have their eyes on their horizon, thinking that actually a victory tonight puts them within 3 points of the top 5, Danny Murphy, and a chance of a European adventure again.
Well, that's exactly the ambition they should be looking for. They've got a very talented group of players who have underperformed. They are capable of going on a good run and winning games consecutively, and that's what they'll have talked about. You know, the second half of the season, they need a much more consistent run of form and points tally to get into those European places. They're capable.
Well, Brighton start with Verbruggen in goal, Veltman at right back, Van Hecke, Duncan, Kadioglu as the back four, Hinshelwood and Gross as the 2 holders in midfield, Gruder, Gomez and Mitoma behind Welbeck in attack. Maxime de Kuyper is not available tonight because of an illness. He was sick this morning. For Bournemouth, Petrovic is their goalkeeper, Jimenez is the right back, Hill, Senesi and Truffaut make up the back four, Cook and Scott in midfield, Tavernier, Krupi and Adley behind Evan Ilson, who leads the line tonight. As far as the home team are concerned, and they find themselves in a position to have quite a decent looking bench this evening. Yassine Ayari, Boscagli, Coppola, who played at the weekend, Kostoulos, Milner, Minte, Baliba, Ruta and Jason Still. It's not quite the same for Bournemouth, who can welcome back Ryan Christie, De Costa, Diakite, who has been playing quite a lot of football this season at the heart of the defence. But then you've got the experience of Fraser Forster, Milisavljevic, the young Serbian, Reece Dottin, Adam Smith, Stevens and Sadi, all of whom are yet to make their Premier League debut. We're about to get underway live on Talk Sport. Down at the Amex Stadium this week, the Champions League will take us to the Arctic Circle, to Milan, to Tottenham, to Newcastle and beyond. The Europa League returns on Thursday. We've got it all. And tomorrow morning, Ali McCoist and Gabi Agbonlahor are joined by Vladimir Sofau on breakfast tomorrow, the former West Ham United defender. So set your alarm and wake up the TalkSport way. And we are at the Amex, a silver dome that pops out of the South Downs just outside the coastal city of Brighton. They've got their eyes on a return to Europe this season, and they don't want that to slip. The ball is sent down towards the right-hand side, and chasing after it, wearing the number 8 shirt of Brighton in those blue and white striped jerseys, Brian Gruder, attacking the goal away to our right. It's red and black stripes for the away side, and James Hill's just kicked the ball against Diego Gomez, and it goes out for a throw on the far side. Danny, how do Bournemouth, who are pretty good at attacking, keep the back door closed today?
I'm not sure they're going to keep the back door closed. I think they feel like they can outscore teams. I'm just looking at the way Brighton pressed Bournemouth then, and Bournemouth actually left 4 up against Brighton's back 4, which is very brave. And brave of Brighton too. I just don't see anything but goals in this game because of the bravery of the way both teams set up. There's an injury there already.
Yeah, and our referee tonight, Tierney, just walks over towards the far corner just to check on the prognosis of, I think it's James Hill has gone down over on the far side. No, it's not. It's the right fullback Jimenez who needs a bit of attention. Andoni Iraola just stalking on the touchline nearest to us. And the ball is in the arms of Bart Verbruggen away to our left-hand side. And it's Tavernier actually who gets back to his feet and starts moving again. There's a throw-in down the far side, and there was a little bit of an elbow from Karu Mitoma. I don't think he actually meant that, to the side of the head. And it's going to be a drop ball, I think, deep inside the Brighton half of the field. And we restart again away to our left-hand side. Bournemouth hoping that their last Premier League away match is a springboard for an upturn of fortunes. They won 3-2 against Tottenham Hotspur. Van Hecke has the ball away to our left-hand side. Plays it forward into Lewis Dunk. Dunk out towards the far side, and now it's picked up in the left fullback position by the returning Pascal Gross. Gross finds Hinshelwood at the base of the midfield, and then they travel with the ball up towards the halfway line. Van Hecke forward into Hinshelwood again. Not much of a press on from Bournemouth, who have allowed Brighton to come up to the halfway line. Lopez looking to spin in behind down the inside right channel. Instead they go left to Kadioglu. Kadioglu takes it up towards the left edge of the area, goes down the far side, low ball in towards the near post, and it fizzes off the ground and into the arms of Jordan Petrovic, and it's cleared away.
It was a phenomenal ball in the first place from Van Hecke. Van Hecke. Yeah. Brilliant crossfield ball, and Kadioglu, why not? Cut inside, give him too much room, has a dig. Keeper did well with it, actually, just bounced in front of him.
He's one heck of a player.
Oh, I like it. Good.
And I think he's actually, I spoke to him a long time ago about his journey through the ranks of the Bournemouth system, and they plotted a course with him when they signed him here at the Amex Stadium, and they've been true to their word. They've spotted him from a very young age as a potential Premier League player, and it's worked out for him perfectly. Ball out over on the far side, tossed in from the right touchline. In it goes into central midfield, where they try to build with Jimenez, and then via Cook out towards the left-hand side. Bournemouth coming forward here. Those black and red striped jerseys attacking the goal away to our left-hand side. And here is Senesi, who has been subject of a little bit of interest, actually, during the January transfer window, but Bournemouth are not going to let him leave this time around. His contract expires at the end of the season. He will go on to pastures new. The ball's turned over on the halfway line. Kadioglu has fed it out towards Danny Welbeck. Just slows up slightly, comes infield. Plays it across to Gross, who chips it out to Van Hecke. And Bournemouth just regress towards the edge of their own penalty area, allowing Van Hecke a little bit of space to wander into. He floats it again out towards Kadioglu. That's his go-to ball into Pascal Gross, who just trundles down the left touchline into Kadioglu again. Welbeck in field. It's on to Hinshelwood. Hinshelwood keeps hold of it well, and then he tried to pop it back out towards Gross on the left-hand side, but Mitoma got in his way, really, and it bounces out eventually, and it's a Bournemouth throw in the right full-back position. I think it's a massive test for Andoni Iraola's side, their first game since the departure of Antoine Semenyo in the Premier League. He was their talisman. He was their go-to player, wasn't he?
He was, but it does give other players the opportunity. That's the football the world over. Players leave when they're flying, especially from clubs like Bournemouth, and other players have to step up. We were talking about it with Aid before, and they've got some talented youngsters who will want to show their worth.
Yep, one of them coming over towards this near side to get on the ball now. Amin Adli, who's making his first Premier League start. 14 of his previous appearances from the bench in the Premier League. Ball cleared upfield by Bournemouth, but intercepted by Gross, and now it's with Van Hecke again on the right side of the centre circle. I mean, at times you've seen them really press brilliantly, Bournemouth, over the course of Andoni Iraola's Premier League career, but they've just dropped off when they've brought the ball out from the back, Brighton, tonight.
They have on 2 occasions, and I think if they don't get a press early, they have to do that, or they'll get played through like this.
And they've done that brilliantly with Hinshelwood feeding the ball to Diego Lopez over on the far side. He sends it out towards the far side, and it's played into Gross. Gross clips it out towards the right, headed down and into the path of Veltman. Veltman trying to travel into the inside right channel. It's hooked away by Adley and up to the halfway line. Gross takes it on after the blonde-haired, slender figure of Van Hecker nods it into his path. They're midway inside the Brighton half, hugging the touchline is Gruder. Then it's back towards Van Hecker, but it was overhit by Brian Gruder. And scurrying back to reach it is Van Hecker. And JP Van Hecker has all the time in the world to turn the ball round and start the move again.
Yeah, it's a good start, good confident start from Brighton, stringing the passes together.
Gomez forward, on towards Welbeck, out to the right-hand side, collected by Gruder, right edge of the penalty area, into Joel Veltman, who's joining the attack here from right back. A Gross with a little turn to go past Adley, get down the right side. He does it again and then turns it into Gruder. Gruder, a talented winger, moving into the box now for Brighton, getting to the byline and then deciding to cut back and feed it to Hinshelwood, edge of the area. Right footed shot, takes a deflection off Cook and goes behind and away for the first corner of the game.
Good from Brighton, nice and patient, work the space, little passes, little interchanges. Pascal Gross pleasing the supporters with his little bit of skill that he's famous for. We've seen him do that many times and players still fall for it.
The Gross turn.
Yeah.
I was actually lucky enough to be at the end of season awards when he was given a wave off by some of the supporters. They did a tribute video and that little Gross turn kept making an appearance in that. Here is Kanioglu on the right side. A ball to the edge of the area for Gruder. He's looking for space to get a shot away. He does it eventually. It's parried away to the right of the post by Petrovic, who got down very quickly. Gruder getting the shot away, and now they've turned it over again, and Andoni Iraola absolutely furious as Brighton come forward down the Bournemouth right, the Brighton left as they look at it. And they've started well, Brighton, but Bournemouth, I don't think, have started at all well.
They look a bit nervy. They're not sure. They are dropping off a bit more at times, which is a bit new, but on the ball, they've been a bit anxious, I should say. Kanioglu,
who's moved out to the right, can play either side, but he's stayed out here from the corner. This is Gross centrally, and then a reverse ball by Hinshelwood doesn't quite work out, and it's cut out by Lewis Cook, who travels up over the halfway line. Flicks it forward, Gross gets a touch on it. Evan Nilsson comes from an offside position and then heads it down, and eventually the assistant over on the far side raises his flag.
Why didn't he raise his flag once he headed it?
I don't know. Well, we knew it was offside, and if we can see it from here, and we're in a... we're just left of the halfway line, but we're very low down, aren't we?
Good strike from Gruder. Just seen it on the replay. He's tested the keeper early. Good thing. Controlled strike. Comfortable save, but still, why not early in the game? Can he have zip on the pitch as well if you can get one low, skipping off that turf?
Talksport on a Monday night. Whenever there's Monday night football in the Premier League, it's live on Talksport. That's a good ball by Bart Verbruggen right through the eye of a needle. Scott and Evan Nilsson on the press this time, and he found Hinshelwood, who got out the other side. Maybe the reason they're not pressing is because they know just how good Brighton are technically at playing out in tight spaces. And Brighton keeping hold of the ball well. Into Gross and then on to Diego Gomez, who was once playing with Messi at Inter Milan. Out wide it goes, into the path of Gruder. A little flick round the corner. Welbeck gets it back despite it didn't work the first time. Veltman back to the edge of the area. Gruder with a little trick to give himself some space. Down the side of the box is Welbeck. Back to Gruder again. Then on to Veltman. It's controlled football and very quick and intricate on the edge of the area for Brighton, who just keep hold of the ball so well, and they've worked the space for Welbeck to get the cross in. He chops in on his left foot, lays it back to the penalty spot. It's going to fall to Gruder. Lovely little touch to take it away from Cook. Couldn't get away from Senesi. The ball's bounded into the path of Gomez, and they still come forward relentlessly. Kadioglu, bit of contact from behind from Senesi on Gruder. Referee doesn't give the penalty. It goes out for a throw-in eventually on this near side. And there's a bit of a conversation going on the touchline between one or two of the members of the Brighton staff and the Bournemouth staff, having a word with the fourth official this evening. Interesting.
Well, Bournemouth are hanging on a little bit. They're getting a run around. They are camped on the edge of their own box. Can't get out, can't string any passes together. Managers getting frustrated, screaming on.
Yeah, it's been a poor start from Bournemouth, really. Not what you would expect.
Nervous start, hasn't it?
Well, I'm surprised and not surprised at the same time as Hill dives in for a tackle on Gomez. Matoma tries to get away. It comes back towards the right side where it's collected by Gruder. Gruder into Gross, who's on the right edge of the centre circle. And then the blue shirts just popping up everywhere, picking up the ball, passing it around with ease. Looking like it's a little bit of a training match, actually, Danny. And I don't know what the statistics are in terms of possession as of yet, but really and truly it's been...
That's better.
It's been a bright start. Now they've turned it over higher up the field. It's picked up by Evan Nilsson, who runs up to the edge of the D. His strike took a little flick, actually, I think, off of Pascal Gross, and it will go out for the first corner of the game.
Well, it was Scott that really committed to a press. Nicked it off Pascal Gross, I think. And Evan Nilsson then, he's running at the back four, decides to give a dig. It's a poor effort with his left foot. He's looking to get a corner there. He shouldn't be shooting on his weak foot from nearly 30 yards.
84% possession. The statistic, and we haven't had too many efforts on goal so far, but that's quite a startling statistic, isn't it? The fact that they've had 84% of the ball in the opening 11 minutes of the game. This is Talksport. Here is the corner to be taken over on the far side, second corner of the game. This one to Bournemouth. It's headed away by Veltman, who got there ahead of Senesi. It's retrieved on this near touchline by Truffert, who's been quite effective, actually, since replacing Kirkes in the left full-back position. It's worked wide to the right, where Tavernier has weaved his way past Diego Gomez and then shot from distance and missed by some distance. He's got right underneath that. And it's almost hit the scaffolding, which has been erected at the back of the stand away to our left, the north stand here at the Amex Stadium.
Yep, not his best ever. We know he's capable. He's got a lovely strike. Now Bournemouth can settle for a press because they've got players. They're doing a similar thing. They're pressing high but leaving equal numbers.
Well, the ball goes back to Bart Verbruggen after Dunk had played it to him from the goal kick, immediately surrounded by red and black shirts. Krupi is beaten by the movement of Van Hecker. It goes up to Welbeck, who heads it into Gomez. He heads it down. There was a challenge there, but very quickly Brighton win it back, and then Veltman sort of spoons it into the path of Cook. It's collected by Krupi, and Junior Krupi moves the ball out towards the far side, and he does well to find a galloping Tavernier, who goes down the right side of the box and feeds it in towards Scott, who turns and shoots at Kadioglu, and then Dunk manages to control it and volley it clear. That's a bit better from Bournemouth. They've started to come alive in the last couple of moments.
Well, it was a much better press, and then it turned over a couple of times, and Krupi got away. Tavernier again being really positive with his run forward, couldn't quite find his man on the cross.
Evan Nilsson on the shoulder of Dunk, getting the ball and shooting it first time into the arms of Verbruggen, who moved to his left. He just allowed that to drop over his shoulder, and he turned and hit that very quickly. Evan Nilsson almost caught the goalkeeper off guard.
Well, it was poor from Dunk. He just ran off the back of him. He nearly got back. It was a great ball from Senesi, and there's nothing wrong with that, playing that long ball over the top when it's on. Brighton like to keep a high line. Got to be worthwhile to playing that ball more often than not.
Brighton against Bournemouth live on Talksport with Sky Sports, and don't forget that you can stream all the Sky Sports action flexibly with Now, like Brighton versus Bournemouth live right now. Search Now Sports. This is Talksport, 14 and a bit gone, and it's Brighton 0, Bournemouth 0. The ball tossed high into the air and headed away by Van Hecker as Truffert tried to get Bournemouth on the attack. The ball bounces into the path of Danny Welbeck. He tried to flick it past Adley, but Bournemouth retrieve it, and it goes all the way back to Jordan Petrovic, who they purchased in the summer from Chelsea after what was a successful season at Strasbourg under Liam Rossigna last year. He's had a bit of a difficult campaign in the Bournemouth goal.
I think any goalkeeper would have, to be honest. They do concede a lot of chances the way they play.
Yeah, statistics have sort of suggested, though, that he is underperforming on the XG against, which means that he's probably conceding more goals than he would be expected to. But when the ball's flying past you every 5 minutes, I suppose you do lose a little bit of confidence. Here is Gruder trying to win it ahead of Truffert. Adley, infield. Krupi gets hold of it. Good little touch by him. They brought him in from Lorient for only £10 million, and he's been absolutely superb, by the way, Krupi.
Looks sharp, doesn't he? He's got nice confidence about him. Glides across the grass, quick.
7 Premier League goals this season. Here is Tavernier bursting down the right, getting to the byline. Low ball into the box. It was a really good one. Adley was coming in at the far post, and there was a little foul from him on Jean-Paul Van Hecker.
Well, that's the third time Tavernier's had a run at Kadioglu, and beaten him comfortably. It's nice and positive. He really drives to that line and fires one across the 6-yard box. Someone has got to be there to tap that in.
That's a terrific
wonderful ball, yeah.
Yeah, that's the kind of ball that you would expect someone like Evan Nilsson at his very sharpest.
He was on his heels. He's got to be there, and he knows. Adley did all right coming off that left. He was in the right position. He nearly got there, but Van Hecker.
Ball cleared by Verbruggen straight out of play on this near side. Treffer is going to try and push it back in. Technically, Bournemouth are unbeaten in 2. And their last 3 Premier League away trips have produced some extraordinary games. Here's Truffert into the box. Another good ball through the 6-yard area, which is aimed for Tavernier. And Kadioglu has to turn it round and out for another corner. But he's a very good crosser of the ball, Truffert. And when it broke down that left-hand side, he only had one thing on his mind. Again, though, the ball going into the box. Evan Nilsson is hanging outside the penalty area. It's
been a great 5 minutes for Bournemouth. They found a bit of confidence, found a bit of space in the wide areas, and they're putting in some great balls.
Scott from the short corner plays the ball into the near post, away by Welbeck. It comes out towards the near side. Jimenez is trying to catch hold of it before it runs out of play. Does that. Fabian Hertzler almost on his haunches down in front of us. Steers the ball centrally to Scott. Scott sends it out towards the right-hand side. It's a lovely ball, well stopped by Tavernier. And Gomez just about protecting the ball well enough to put it out of play and away for another corner to a Bournemouth side who started very slowly in this match. And if you go back just 4 or 5 minutes, Bournemouth had only had 16% of the ball, but now they're the ones causing real problems for Brighton's defence. Need a good delivery from a corner kick. Evan Nilsson waiting for that delivery. It's Tavernier who hits it left-footed right under the goalkeeper, but it's an easy catch for Verbruggen.
It's actually a really good ball. If they've got men around the keeper, he's not getting that as easily as he did.
Matoma goes up with Truffert. The two collide. They both land awkwardly on the floor. It spills towards the far side. The ball into the arms of Petrovic, and they'll look to build again. At home this season, Fabian Hertzler's team have been really reliable. They've only suffered 1 defeat. That was in December to Aston Villa. I'll tell you what, they won that game twice, I think, and then allowed Aston Villa back into it. They played really well that evening. I think they took a 2-goal lead in the match. So they don't really very often find themselves under the cosh here. And Aston Villa, the only team since January 2025 to beat them on their own patch. Here is Krupi. Back out wide to the left and Adley. Adley scoops the ball and elevates it back to James Hill, who's at the heart of the Bournemouth defence. He fires it vertically straight up into Evan Nilsson. Immediately as the ball bounces off him, Hinshelwood snaffles it up. Welbeck tries to flick it out to the far side. It does reach Matoma, but it's an awkward bouncing ball. He then tries to turn it round James Hill and then chase the other side, but he didn't quite get that right.
Read that well, Hill. He didn't dive in, he was nice and patient, got over there and then all of a sudden read the touch. It was good defending.
Solid defender, isn't he, James Hill? Started now the last 4 Premier League games, and this is the first time in his career he's started 4 in a row in the top flight. 24 years of age, alongside the experienced Senesi. Brighton have possession halfway. Into Gruder, tries to play it infield. It's nabbed by Scott, sent forward to Krupi, blocked by Van Hecker, and the ball bounces out on this near touchline and it's away for a throw.
Great defending from Truffert, because as the ball's gone into Gruder, he's so tight and so sharp to him. If his touch isn't perfect, they win the ball back, and it wasn't, and then they've got the turnover again. That's what they weren't in the first 5 and 8 minutes. They weren't touch tight, they weren't close enough.
Yep, they were just a little bit off the bridle, weren't they? But they've certainly upped the energy levels now.
Have you ever ridden?
I have, actually.
I thought you might have.
Why,
I don't know why.
You
just
that?
Look like the type who wears riding hats.
Yeah, of course. Oh, dear.
Oh, what a ball.
It's a lovely control on the chest, and then a volley by Evan Nilsson out to the far side, the right. Into Evan Nilsson, then out wide towards the right-hand side, and then Jimenez on the overlap tries to get down to the byline, produce a cross, but he overhits that. It goes right through the 6-yard box and out the other side, and it's out for a throw-in on this near touchline.
More joy down the right again, though. Karioglu started slow. He played well in the game. I saw him at Old Trafford, but he's got run by again there. That time from Jimenez. Tried to blast the cross, low across, and miss-hit it. Went high and out for a throw in the other side, but a lot of dangers come down that right-hand side for Bournemouth.
But Brighton certainly not having the best of their campaigns, but they know how competitive this division is this season and know that a victory today takes them up towards the top 5 in the Premier League. 29 points is their lowest at this stage in 4 seasons. And after a run of just 1 win in 8 Premier League games, they need to try and find a little bit of form. James Milner sitting behind Fabian Herzler today. He's 8 years older than his manager. Here is Tavernier to take the free kick just in front of the centre circle. Brighton have set their line just outside their own penalty area. This is not central, but it's left of centre. And just a couple of steps left of centre for Marcus Tavernier. He slides it down the side of the wall. And actually, I wonder whether or not Krupi could have gone down that left side a little bit further. He went backwards instead, and now they try to build it on the left with Amin Adli. Adli round the corner to Truffert, tries to get his cross in. Welbeck is across, the ball spoons up into the air, and it's out for a corner away to our left-hand side.
It's been a strange one, hasn't it? Because the start of the game felt like Bournemouth were going to be in for a long evening, and their confidence has just grown. They're starting to pop the ball about, get the fullbacks flying wide, nice little passes, getting plenty of crosses in there. It's turned on its head.
Yeah. The tide has turned on the south coast.
Yes.
Here is Cook to take the corner from the near touchline. And he's got Senesi to aim at the back post. There's not much height in there for Bournemouth. It does go towards Senesi. And Verbruggen, who had a little bit of attention, had to lean back and punch the ball. Hooked on by Krupi back into the box. It drops on the edges of the area for Alex Scott. Scott gets it back to the left and Truffert, and then Scott has it once again. He wants to switch the play, but he didn't get enough elevation on it. Eventually was fended out by Adli towards Tavernier. His cross into the area, it's flicked on by Pascal Gross into the arms of his own goalkeeper. A little bit of sweat forming on the brow of Pascal Gross as that glanced off the top of his head and went towards his own goal.
It's good sustained pressure, though, even when the first move doesn't. They're winning the drop downs and the knockdowns and getting that ball back into the box sharp with good crosses and causing Brighton problems.
Yes, they need a solution here, Brighton, don't they? A bit like the first sort of 8 to 10 minutes for Bournemouth. They just could not get into the game at all, and it was all Brighton. And now it's completely been mirrored ever since that chance that Evan Nilsson created. And all of a sudden we've got a different game on our hands here, and Brighton have got a different game on their hands here. They need to get hold of the ball, find a bit of composure, build their play. And the Cherries have got a defence which you would expect them to be able to breach at some point this evening. They've conceded 29 goals in their last 6 games, Bournemouth, more than any other Premier League club in that period. In fact, 9 more than any other Premier League club in that period. And they've conceded 2 or more goals in every one of their last 8 away games. Up it goes to Gruder, whose back is to goal. From behind, there's a challenge from Senesi. Then there was a later challenge by Welbeck on Krupi.
Yeah, he caught him. I don't think he meant to, but he caught him. I've got to say, actually, the last 3 times the ball's gone fired into Krupi, his touch is perfect. Yep. Really nice little nutmegs there as well on Veltman, but his touch is really tight and precise. Exactly where he needs it when it's fired into him. Bam. He looks like he's in total control of himself, what he's doing.
It's amazing, really, when you think that, you know, he was so cheaply acquired. He's still a teenager. He's 19 years of age. But he's arguably the most clinical finisher in terms of his conversion rate in the Premier League right now. 7 goals from just 18 shots is a conversion rate of 39%. It's incredibly impressive. Here is Gomez, who manages to get hold of the ball down the right side, keeps it well, and Gomez has got it again. He bends it out into the path of Pascal Gross with a lovely outside of the right boot. He feeds it into the German, who now runs over the halfway line, and for the first time in a while, Brighton are on the attack. Gross cuts back in, right-footed. Big, deep cross to the far post, headed down by Welbeck, comes back to him, steered centrally.
Gone out.
Did go out of play, I think it did. It's going to be a corner away to our right-hand side to the home team, and a bit of respite for that defence, and now Van Hecker and Dunk can join the attack and try and cause some problems for the Bournemouth defence. And there is a height differential, I think, when it comes to set pieces here.
Yeah, they're a real threat, aren't they, Brighton, on set plays with the two centre-halves. Duncan Van Hecker, they're both big boys. They both like heading it.
There's a second ball on the pitch and they can't do anything until that's removed. I think Pascal Gross has just realised that, and he's going to deal with the situation because nobody else is doing so. He then runs back down the touchline to take the corner kick. 26 gone on Talksport. It's Brighton and Hove Albion 0, Bournemouth 0. Remember, Adrian said it was definitely not going to be 0-0.
I agreed with him.
You did. Pascal Gross to take it right-footed from the corner flag away to our right-hand side. He sends it as an outswinger towards the far post, looking for Van Hecker. Van Hecker is beaten to it in the air. The ball is cleared upfield towards Tavernier, and he might just get there before Karo Matoma. And he's got support in the middle of the park from Amin Adli, and he gets up into the area. He finds Adli, who's connected by the goalkeeper Verbruggen, and he goes down. In fact, I don't think there was any contact. It might well have been a dive, and he's going to get a yellow card for simulation.
It was a brilliant break from Bournemouth. Tavernier, nice and positive again, using his pace, outpaced Matoma. If he was a bit clever and a bit cuter with his ball, a bit more precise, it was an easy chance for Adli.
They are just going to check to see whether or not there was any contact. Paul Tierney has said that it was a dive and that there was no contact between goalkeeper and player. Just have a quick look at this for me, Danny. What do you think when you see the replay? Comes out. I think there is contact.
I think there is, yeah. We're getting a better angle now.
Well, it's definitely contact with the foot.
Yeah.
I thought there was at the time, to be honest with you. It was the speed of the breakaway which caught them out, really. It was a lovely ball into the penalty area. In fact, Adli is turning around and saying, look, I don't think that there was...
Yeah, he kicks him. It's a penalty.
Yeah, Adli's saying, look, I was kicked, so I don't deserve a yellow card for it, which is actually true. And I think he dives at his feet, and then his right foot connects with the body of Amin Adli as he gets to the ball.
Yeah, I mean, they might say the ball was already going out or whatever when he cut, but it doesn't really matter, does it?
But it's not simulation, so the yellow card should definitely be reversed, which they are allowed to do if in the process of a VAR check they realise that it's not right. But I think Verbruggen kicks him, and I think this should be a penalty.
It is. It's got to be a penalty.
The VAR studying it and trying to work out, and now Paul Tierney comes over to the monitor to make a decision.
So is that just the procedure?
It's a subjective decision of which the VAR has decided he thinks there might be clear evidence for him to overturn it, but the referee has to make the final call.
Well, while this is going on, I think it's worth admiring that breakaway, because Tavernier's positivity in the early part of the game, every time he's got the ball to run, use his athleticism, use his pace. I thought Matoma was quick, but he was quicker than Matoma. And he had the whereabouts to know that the pass was on, and I did him an injustice. The pass was actually pretty good.
Well, Jarrod Gillett is the VAR, and he has advised for a review to the monitor for Paul Tierney to come across and see the contact. Is he already going
down?
No. He might be going down. He might be hurdling what's coming at him. So he slides along the floor, Bart Verbruggen, and actually
kicks off.
I think Adli gets the ball first, and then as he goes over, he's put his arm up, so he leads with his hands. As he goes over, the right foot comes up and connects with Adli, and I think that's got to be a penalty.
I'm looking at the VAR now, and they keep showing this angle miles away. That's the one they shouldn't be looking at. There you go, that's better.
Right, the VAR is going to overturn the decision, and the referee, Paul Tierney, has just done the TV sign. He's about to engage his microphone. You probably won't be able to hear him, but I'll tell you what he's going to say after review. There was contact by the goalkeeper on red number 21. He's removing the simulation yellow card, and he's given the penalty kick.
Adley's just saying to the ref, I told you.
Well, I didn't think it was simulation at the start, to be honest with you. I thought there was contact.
Oh no, I thought he dived from the start.
Did you?
Yeah, because I thought, well, how can the ref be so sure? He must have seen it better than us.
I think it was the distance that they travelled. It just didn't look right to me.
The question is now, who's taking the penalty?
Well, great discussion to be had about that, because their penalties. Well, they've just shown it on the big screen, and they're suggesting that the Brighton fans aren't happy with the reaction. I mean, we've seen it 3 or 4 times. I mean, the Bournemouth penalty record, Evan Nilsson, Alex Jimenez and Bafodi Diakite all had penalties saved in the shootout at Newcastle.
I'd be giving it Krupi. He's the top goal
8
scorer.
days ago. Brighton are absolutely complaining that there was not enough contact, and James Milner is voicing his concerns to the fourth official, Fabian Hertzler as well. Meanwhile,
it's a definite penalty.
Marcus Tavernier is lining up the penalty kick in front of the Brighton fans away to our left in the north stand. It was all Brighton, then it was all Bournemouth. Now it's a penalty to Bournemouth with a chance to take the lead after half an hour. Bart Verbruggen stands up, puts his arms into the air. A big intake of breath from Marcus Tavernier, who steps up left-footed and piles it into the corner.
Good pen.
Really accurate penalty, super precise from the Cherries finisher. And Marcus Tavernier absolutely picked his spot and placed it perfectly to put Bournemouth into the lead from the penalty spot. Fabian Hertzler furious, Brighton furious, but you're of the opinion that that was the right call.
Well, I can't believe that many people would watch that back and say it's not a pen. He's kicked his leg in the air, he's kicked him in the thigh, it's a penalty. It doesn't matter that the ball goes out of play, it's irrelevant. It's as clear a pen as you're going to see.
Well, the Brighton supporters are singing "You're not fit to referee," but I think he's got that spot on, and it's a
well, they're
Bournemouth
forgetting
goal.
that the ref himself didn't give it.
Well, technically he did give it after looking at the monitor.
Well, yeah, but you know what I mean.
It's Jared Gillett in the VAR room who called him over to the monitor.
Bournemouth have deserved it, by the way.
Well, they've deserved to take the lead, yeah. Definitely, and they're looking to come forward again now with Evan Nilsson after Cook picked the pocket of Van Hecker. There is a bit of a breakaway now as it's collected by Gross, who charges over the halfway line, left of the centre circle, feeds it into Mitoma. Mitoma back to Kadioglu. Kadioglu now on to Hinshelwood. Hinshelwood, who is wearing the number that Pascal Gross used to wear. He plays the ball into Van Hecker, and now it's out to the right where it's collected by Gruder. Gruder dancing towards the edge of the area. And then it's played in towards Hinshelwood, but cut out by Cook, and then cleared down the touchline by Bournemouth, who lead by a goal to nil, courtesy of a penalty from Marcus Tavernier. The reason you're hearing the oohs and ahs, the rather expressive oohs and ahs of Danny Murphy.
Do you know what? I should explain myself. Krupi again, yeah. He's got silky little touches and skills, great little awareness. Really impressed with him tonight.
You definitely should explain that, because otherwise it sounded a little bit odd.
Yeah.
One 0 to Bournemouth. This is Talksport. Adrian was right. It wasn't going to be 0-0.
Again.
Yeah. Sometimes it is a bit annoying.
He's always right, isn't he?
Not always. Most of the time. It's true fair. Down the left-hand side. Plays it back to Senesi. And then infield it goes to Adley. Adley to the wide right position. The worst time that he was right is when he went to the second leg of the playoff semi-final. He knew that Sheffield Wednesday were going to mount a comeback. Here is Welbeck down the right-hand side, trying to take the ball to the edge of the area. It's excellent work rate from Amin Adley, but then a good turnover by Veltman as well. And they come forward again, Brighton, down the left-hand side. And it's collected now by Pascal Gross, who's trying to take on Tavernier. Goes towards the byline, stops the ball, comes back again, then goes on the outside once more, plays it against Tavernier. And it is out for a corner kick to Brighton. You're listening to Talksport. The latest odds are available at Ladbrokes, where right now you can get Brighton to win the game at 17-5. The draw is 27-10. It's 11-8 on for Bournemouth to complete a victory. That's all thanks to Ladbrokes 18+, gambleaware.org. I mean, Brighton have got to make something happen here.
They have. I mean, Bournemouth have actually defended well at times. They've been patient. Got numbers back in. Looks a far cry from the team that's been conceding all those goals away from home, but we are only 35 minutes in, so they have to continue that discipline and that concentration against this Brighton side. It's going to be tough. Yeah,
a little bit of a tactical tweak from Andoni Iraola from the start, not pressing as high, and it has so far.
Well, they still press when they're set, but generally sat off,
Here's the ball towards the far post, and the header is free for Hinshelwood, who hits it straight against the goalkeeper, who manages to make a save from point-blank range. And it's cleared away. Well, that defending was not very good. And Hinshelwood at the far post,
free as
exposing a massive gap in the defence, bending down, heading the ball goalwards, and somehow Petrovic made the save.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. Moments, lapse of concentration from a simple set play. Not to lose a header, but to nobody there to compete with him. Somebody's lost the runner. Got away with it. Good save.
10 minutes to go before half-time. That was a poor defensive setup from Bournemouth after us praising the fact that they hadn't conceded a goal for 35 minutes. Here is Verbruggen. Out to Van Hecker. Moves up down the right side into Matoma. It's a poor ball by him. He's given it to Scott. Now Evan Nilsson's got a bit of work to do. He hasn't got much support. He's got to the edge of the area. Taking it to the left. Tried to strike down low to the goalkeeper's right. It went straight into the side netting. And there's a few behind the goal, just ironically are suggesting that maybe that collapse by Evan Nilsson at the end. Should that be a penalty, ref? They're not happy about the award of the spot kick.
It was a good positive run from Evan Nilsson, but he just lost his legs, a little bit of fatigue when he was trying to get his strike off on his weak foot. It wasn't the best.
Here is Kadioglu over on the far side for Brighton, who need to find a bit of inspiration in this game. They're struggling to find their feet in the match after a good start.
Well, he's got a good bench, that's for sure. He carries on like this, he's got some really strong options on the bench to maybe mix it up, even at half-time.
Well, he might have to. And Fabian Hertzler, certainly not one to worry about making changes. And Ruter on the bench, Minte, Baliba, Kostulas, Milner, Boscagli, Ayari, Coppola. All of them have played recently. Players that can come on and influence the game, like... I quite like Ayari, actually. Minte and Ruter certainly can as well. Ball over on the far side. It's with Jimenez.
I think Kadioglu and Matoma have both been poor on that left side.
Takes the ball forward into the right, looking for Evan Nilsson, who's down the right channel. He skips it over the top of the goalkeeper, hits the post, comes back into the 6-yard area. And Krupi can't finish. And Verbruggen gratefully receives, and the whole of Brighton gratefully receives the welcome flag on the far side, which means that it was offside in the first place.
He was right. The lino was right. Clever little finish, actually. He was unlucky to come off the post, but he was a yard. He tried to hold his run. It's a great little pass, actually, from Jimenez. He just delayed it half a second, and that's the difference.
Ruter went up down in front of us. I wonder if he might not be one of the first cabs off the rank here, because they look a little bit out of sorts, Brighton, at the end of this first half. 7 minutes to go. I'm just having a replay of that Hinshelwood header. I mean, he's literally on his knees when he connects with the ball. Hinshelwood bending down to head it.
Could have actually taken a touch, probably.
I was going to say, maybe he could have just
volleyed it.
He didn't, and it was saved by Petrovic and cleared away to the far side. Brighton 0, Bournemouth 1 on Talksport. Marcus Tavernier with a goal, which separates the two teams. And you're listening to Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, they're here for it. Ball up to Evan Nilsson. It'll flick around the corner. Taken on by Marcus Tavernier, the goal scorer. He trundles down the right touchline. He's engaged by Kadioglu, the
He's been good, hasn't he, Tavernier? So positive.
Yeah. Direct with his running.
We see so many players come back all the time and look for the pass. He's just got head down, bum, I've got you. I know I'm quicker than you. I'm going to keep going by you.
Good touch by Evan Nilsson and a skip past Van Hecker, and then looks up, tries to play it out to the right-hand side, but he didn't get his ball right. He did all the hard work, actually.
Do you know what happened? He made a great bit of skill. He got the turn, and as he was about to play in, I don't know whether I think it was Krupi, he was offside, so he had to delay it, and he took another touch and another touch. He was right to delay it. He's unlucky.
Well,
bit better quality there. They were in.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because Bournemouth were the team that you expected to concede a bucket load of goals today. Brighton was said to have more weapons, but it's Bournemouth who lead on the south coast. Here's Hinshelwood, who's had a really good chance for Brighton. Into Gruder. Gruder is challenged by Cook on the floor, and then Scott pinches it back and sends it all the way to Jordan Petrovic. He plays out into Adrien Truffert. The ball spoons up off the back of Brian Gruder. Gets it under control. Krupi over the top with another good ball. An athletic overhead kick which finds Adley, who speeds away down the left, skips away from Veltman. It's an excellent run by Adley, who tees it up into the penalty area for Truffert, who tries to cross it first time, does the second time, headed away by Hinshelwood, but they can't get them out at the moment.
Adley, he did brilliantly to get down the left, and he made the wrong choice. There was two other better balls.
Tavernier down the right-hand side, again running at Kadioglu, knowing that he's got him under the cosh a little bit. goes back in field and gives it to Senesi over the top, and it's a good run into the penalty area by Jimenez, and instead of hitting it goalwards, he goes to cross it through the 6-yard box, and it goes right the way through the 6-yard box and out for a goal kick.
What a pass this is from Senesi. He's hit a couple of passes tonight. He's so good on the ball, so comfortable. Beautiful pass, what you expect from a creative midfield player. And the run from the full-back again is crucial. Just can't control the cross. Great play again, really good to watch. Here we go again. 9th
Premier League start in a row for Jimenez, who's charging forward again down the right-hand side. Dispossessed this time by Matoma and Gross, and Gomez will pick it up and move up to halfway. Brighton, again, just slow the pace of the game down slightly, and that just irritates one or two in the Brighton ranks, the support.
They've got not worry about what the supporters are doing. You've got to get back in the game and get some passes together and just get some territory. Don't want to give it away again by being anxious and trying to force it with passing it too early. Now they've got a bit more possession, more men forward.
Here is Matoma down the left, back to Gross again. Gross is 15 yards back from the edge of the area and just in front of the centre circle by the time he releases it to Matoma, who was going backwards in possession. Dunk, and then Van Hacker. There's lots of empty seats, by the way, in the Bournemouth end of the ground, away to our right-hand side. A complete empty section between the two. And there's loads of sporadic empty seats in the Brighton end as well. And I know that a lot of those are season ticket holders that haven't come tonight because it was an official sellout tonight. Now, I don't think there's much argy-bargy between Brighton and Bournemouth fans, so I don't think that section away to our right is there for segregation. I just don't think that Bournemouth has sold out their entire allocation.
Yeah, exactly.
Here is Matoma moving up towards the edge of the area, and he is brought down by Tavernier, who was chasing him from behind. And a free kick is given in favour of Brighton, 7 yards outside the box with 2.5 minutes to go at the end of the first half. He came in brilliantly there. Tavernier just making a tackle from the wrong side.
Yeah, I don't mind that from my players, though. The willingness of Tavernier to get back and help his full-back against a winger like Matoma. Great desire, a little bit too anxious to win it back. It's probably too far out for a shot, to be honest, so not too much damage done.
Well, Gross,
he says,
and Gruder standing over it. Is it that far for a shot, maybe? We'll see, won't we?
You should never score from there.
Okay.
Against the Premier League goalkeeper. Honestly, you shouldn't. Well, too far.
Let's see what happens next. It looks as if Gruder is going to lift this towards the back edge of the penalty area. It is Gruder who does exactly that, towards the far post, looking for Gomez. Didn't get it right. Scott sees it behind, and it's out for a goal kick away to our right-hand side. And they were better at defending the set piece on that occasion. Didn't switch off as they did at the previous.
No, it was good from Scott.
Set piece.
You can see Senesi telling everybody just to calm down, slowing the goalkeeper down. Don't blame him. Try and get to this half-time with that lead intact. You could argue they could be further in front. They might be disappointed. It might not be enough, the one goal, knowing their defensive record, but they've certainly created enough chances and good moves to score more than one.
Such a violent swing in momentum from the first 10 minutes of the game. We're now 60% possession for Brighton, 40% for Bournemouth. But, I mean, in terms of the way that the game has gone, I mean, it really was all Brighton for the first 10 minutes of the match until Bournemouth just sort of found their feet. And then since then, it's been one-way traffic pretty much. We're going to have 5 minutes of additional time at the end of the first half. There was a brief delay for an injury for Tavernier, and then there was the VAR check and the goal. So we are going to have 5 minutes of added time at the end of the first half. Verbruggen under pressure from Evan Nielsen manages to kick clear. First contact is won by Truefair, and then the ball's played infield. Adley and Cook then work it back out to Truefair, who runs down the left, produces a cross. Evan Nielsen with a header into the corner. It's narrowly wide of the left-hand upright.
Got to score.
Well, Verbruggen went diving to his left because he was not sure he was going to get there. It was a brilliant cross from Adrian Truefair down the left-hand side after a neat bit of interchange inside the midfield involving Cook and Adley. And the cross was pinpoint. The header was wide.
It was a brilliant move. I mean, Truefair's been terrific. He's nice and positive, gets down that left-hand side, puts in a wonderful ball. The only thing you can say from Evan Nielsen, he is maybe, 10 yards out, but he's got to hit the target there.
Should he have hit it back across the goalkeeper rather than into the what was his near post.
Exactly that. It's where the space was. Easier said than done, of course, but that's exactly what he should have been trying to do.
Van Hecker out to the left. Brighton looking to respond before half-time. Trailing by a goal to nil. A penalty from Marcus Tavernier after 32 minutes. The difference between these two teams on the south coast, but the pendulum certainly has swung in Bournemouth's favour in the after the first 15 minutes. Crossed into the box, punched away by Petrovic ahead of Welbeck. And then Bournemouth try to get it clear. Van Hecker gets the knockdown from Tavernier back to his goalkeeper. And Verbruggen will look to build. What would you be saying if you're Fabian Hertzler at half-time?
I'd be making a couple of changes, to be perfectly honest. They need sprucing up. That right side's been... the right side of Bournemouth, left side of Brighton's been poor defensively. So many problems coming down. Change on both.
Dare I say the atmosphere has been very flat?
Yeah.
I just took my headphones off just to have a little...
I did that before, and it's...
Listen, and it's almost silent out there, isn't it? Just sort of a couple of groans of frustration, nothing more than that. The club's come such a long way in a short space of time, I know. So sometimes you do get the attendances, especially for these games that aren't the glamour fixtures, that aren't 100%. But there's still there's a lot of people in here tonight. There's still 25,000 in here tonight. Ball sent over the top looking for Welbeck, and there's a bit of hesitation between Senesi and Petrovic.
Yeah, but good decision. If you're not sure, don't worry.
He's hooked it out for a throw-in on this near side. It's fortunate it didn't go anywhere else. And Veltman has a late throw at the end of the first 45. Ball in the arms of Joel Veltman, the Dutchman. Away to our right-hand side, looking for a bit of movement. It's flicked by the defender Truffert and goes straight into the arms.
They're a bit short of
Petrovic.
ideas, Brian. A bit short of ideas at the moment. And that's a mixture of themselves and also Bournemouth being disciplined, getting numbers back, blocking the avenues that they want to play through. It's been impressive for Bournemouth. Growth in this first half. Been really on top for most of it. Looked a really good side.
Gomez into Brian Gruder. They're belying the fact that they've won only one of the last 13 games, Bournemouth. Back it goes to Kadioglu. Kadioglu steering it back to Duncan. And remember, they're missing their talisman for most of the season and last, Antoine Semenyo, who they sold to Manchester City. Here is Gross now. Matoma makes a run down the left-hand side. It was too telegraphed, and Jimenez read that really well. Pinched it before it could reach the Japanese international, and then runs up towards the halfway line at speed. And now Tavernier has got green grass to run into, but Dunk read the situation brilliantly, went sliding across and poked it out for a throw-in level with the edge of the penalty area.
Kadioglu looks leggy. Looks like he can't get about. Can't get near anyone. He's being ran over time and time again. And that's not his norm. He wasn't like that when I saw him against Man United. Maybe he's fatigued, maybe played too many minutes, I'm not sure, but he doesn't look...
It's been 8 days since they played that game.
Yeah, I don't know why I said it. He does, though. He looks like he's been out last night with you and Crookie.
We stayed in last night because we had a 4-hour journey back from Villa. Ball thrown in towards the near post. It's headed away by Dunk. It bounces on the edge of the 6-yard box and it's cleared towards the halfway line. Cook will see it back to his goalkeeper. And it's probably going to be the end of the first 45 minutes, really. And it's been a good 45 minutes for Bournemouth after a settling-in period. They managed to get in front through Marcus Tavernier and his penalty. They might have one more bit of defending here as Gomez goes chasing with Cook. He sees it back to Petrovic. And Petrovic will clear up over the halfway line. Kadioglu with a header. Evan Nilsson brings it down. Nice. A little backheel neatly into Scott, who comes charging forward. He's got Tavernier to his left. His weight of pass is good. It's out towards the byline. He stops it, looks up. Can he play it back in again? Can't quite. And it goes back to Alex Scott, and they retreat towards the halfway line. Danny wanted them to put their foot to the floor.
Yeah, it was a pull. You said the way it was good. It actually wasn't. He overhit it. He wanted it so he could hit it one touch.
I don't know why I said that.
Yeah, well, you're allowed a mistake. I'm not. The pass was just only a fraction over it because he could have just whipped in. He had men running in at the back post, and then they decided to keep the ball. But I thought it was a wonderful opportunity to get another goal.
Yeah, they just slowed the game down. I feel a little bit nervous now because I feel like everyone in here can hear us because it is so quiet inside the Amex Stadium. It really is. I mean, there is a few boos, but it is very, very quiet here. Bournemouth looking for their first league double in 6 years over Brighton. They have the upper hand, and they have a very strong foothold in this game. They have the lead because of a Marcus Tavernier penalty, which was looked at by Jared Gillett in the VAR room, and he instructed Paul Tierney to look at the monitor, who overturned the original decision of simulation. But Brighton will know the Cherries often throw away their leads. There's a big second half to come, and there might need to be big changes from Brighton, because at half-time, it's Brighton 0, Bournemouth 1.
Well, there's a lot of boos, and there was a very loud chant of "You're not fit to referee," and the booing gets louder as Paul Tierney and his officials head towards the tunnel. The Brighton fans absolutely fuming at that VAR call. Now, Jared Gillett is the VAR. He is within those refereeing circles, regarded as one of the most experienced and best of the VAR officials. He's instructed Tierney to go to the screen. He goes to the screen and he changes his mind. He rescinds the yellow card for diving on Adley, and he gives a penalty. And let's have a look at that decision, Danny Murphy, because Premier League Match Centre tweeted out, after VAR review, the referee overturned the original decision of no penalty to Bournemouth in yellow card for Adley for simulation. Referee announcement, after review, the Brighton goalkeeper makes foul contact with Bournemouth 21. Final decision is to rescind the yellow card and give a penalty kick. It came from a great break from Bournemouth. Tavernier down the left. It was quite a poor ball in. It led to a kind of 50-50 between the keeper, and the keeper and Adley. Now, in real time, you're wondering what went on. I didn't think it was a dive. I just thought he was running full pelt and he went over. I didn't necessarily think it was a penalty. But when you look at it, the boot goes high off the floor from the goalkeeper. Is that why it's a penalty?
Yeah, because it's he raises his foot, and as he raises his foot and catches him on the thigh, you can't not give a penalty because it's a deliberate action with his foot. It wasn't just a coming together. So it's the right decision. I've
heard Brighton fans around us were fuming, and they want to have a big conversation about it mid-game, which is great. It actually is good because you get the opinions of the Brighton fans. They were saying that Adley was going down before any contact was made. I'm not sure that's true because the high boot hits the top of his leg, doesn't it? So he's not going down.
No, and actually what happens is the more you see it, the more you understand it. If you only see it a couple of times, I can understand them thinking he's looking for it. And he is going to be looking for it in a way, but you're right, as the foot hits him, he's still vertical. He's not over, he's vertical. So he could have theoretically carried on the run. Now, he wouldn't have got the ball because his touch was too heavy. That's why I thought they might not give it. But actually, that's not in the rules. That's irrelevant where the ball goes. The contact was deliberate because he lifted his leg to catch him. It was an action from the goalkeeper. And when he actually catches him, he's not already on the floor or diving. He's actually vertical. Now, you could argue he was vertical then on his way to going over, but you can't start making assumptions. You can only give what you see. It's a penalty.
Yeah, I mean, you said definite penalty.
Yeah.
There will be, all these Brighton fans, and I know it's tribal, and I know they don't want it to be a penalty, but I don't think any of them would say, yeah, that's a penalty.
Well, that's what football fans are like. The reality is, if you want to look at it from an old-school perspective, that wouldn't be a penalty when I was playing. It's a nothing coming together. But the game's changed. 10 out of 10 VAR officials give that as a penalty. I don't think there's any referee or VAR official who would say, no, he's made the most of it. Because the keeper lifts his leg towards the player to catch him and catches him.
It's the key what you've just said there. The game has changed. And because we're looking at it more forensically through VAR, because of VAR, that's why you're looking for that touch. You're looking for that higher boot. For me, and I'm very old school with this, I'm not a fan of VAR, as everybody knows. For me, it's two players going for the ball, a 50-50. The Bournemouth player is running full pelts. He doesn't get there first. The keeper does. And then the Bournemouth player goes. I don't even think he's looking for a penalty, to be honest with you. I just think he's going full pelt, doesn't get there, goes over momentum or whatever reason. You know what it's like. Running full pelt and going over, mate.
Yeah, whether he is or he isn't looking for it's not the point. Because it didn't look, when he got connected by the foot of the goalkeeper, like he was going over. The speed of the move that meant after he got the foot in the thigh, he did go over. So it looks like he was going to go over anyway, because your mind wants you to think that, because you're a Brighton fan. Look, as I said, if I had my way and I was reffing football, those silly incidents would never be pens. But the game's changed. He got to the ball first, he got kicked by the goalkeeper with a deliberate action from the goalkeeper, not an accidental one. It's a penalty.
Listen, I said it wouldn't be 0-0. I was right, but I did ask where they
should be more than 1-0.
Where the creativity is coming from, where the goals are coming from, and Bournemouth have had the better chances. The Evan Nilsson header on 45. Lewis Dunk, by the way, miles off it. He's just standing there watching. I don't know what he's doing. But Truffert, Tavernier, they've been electric out wide, haven't they?
Well, Tavernier and Truffert have been so positive. They've taken risks, relied on their athleticism and their ability to beat people and really get good quality balls in as well. There was one, I think Jimenez has been involved in a couple of good moves as well. I can't think whether, I think it was Tavernier fired one across. Evan Nilsson should have been in there tapping in. He didn't make the move early enough. And Adley was nearly in on the back post, but they've got into some brilliant positions. But I think also as well what's been impressive is that little tweak Sam and I talked about, is that when they can't get the press on and they drop back and defend their own box for a little while, they've got good numbers in, they look hard to play through, which is not what we've said about Bournemouth on their travels recently. One
to think about in the half-time break, Danny Senesi, contract up in the summer, he's 28, Argentina international. I don't think he's going to be at Bournemouth next season. They lead by a 1-0 here at Brighton, but the home fans don't like it. VAR's been robbing us of goals all season. VAR's actually given us a goal here tonight, live on Talksport.
Kick-off on Talksport with Ladbrokes. 18+ gambleaware.org.
It's another day at Screwfix, and so Mo Farah is still getting to grips with things.
So, Mo, with Sprint Delivery, we get the order to them in as little as 20 minutes. Okay? Mo? Mo?
Done. He was on the 18th floor.
Nice work. But, you know we use delivery riders, right?
Oh, now you tell me.
Sprint it in as little as 20 minutes. Screwfix. No stopping you. Conditions and geographical restrictions apply.
Incredible scenes here at the Village Hotel's Pub and Grill. Fans are taking their place in the fan zone with stadium-style seating, amazing views on huge screens, and we're underway. Lovely bit of dribbling there as she tackles the burger stack. Now they're getting down the wings. Sticky barbecue. Unbelievable. Oh, and he's hit the bar. And it's there. His favourite ice-cold beer. What a result. Catch every game live in the Pub and Grill at Village. Get in. Find out more at villagehotels.com.
Imagine a place where you can escape for a day. Get immersed in a world of rooms, inspiration and expertise. Where you can laze in luxury accommodation. And kids can feast from 95 pence. Tickets are free to everyone and include all the attractions. You've just imagined a day out at IKEA. IKEA, the wonderful everyday.
At Betfair, we believe that to play different, you need the right tools. The boots, the world-class tactics, the science-backed nutrition. The pros have their tools, and with Betfair, so do you. Our safer gambling tools work just like the right pair of boots, designed to keep you on top of your game. Open the Betfair app to equip yourself so you can bet at your best. Betfair. Play different.
18+, begambleaware.org.
The beautiful game doesn't stop at the final whistle, and neither does the sun.co.uk. So you can go beyond the last kick with expert insight into the big moments and in-depth analysis of tactics, plus the latest breaking news and exclusives. And you can get it whenever and wherever you want it. To keep up with every kick, just head to thesun.co.uk. It's unbeatable.
We all fantasize about our perfect home. Watching the big game cozied up in the snug.
Another 7-0 win!
Balmy summer nights with the kids playing on the lawn.
We're playing real-life football!
But come on, this isn't real. Listen, if you're serious about making your fantasy a reality, find out what your home is worth instantly with a free online valuation estimate. Get real about moving. Get on the market. Most common time to obtain an online quote between 1st of April 2024 and 30th of June 2024 was under 3 minutes. Excludes Northern Ireland.
Hi, just leaving work now. Sorry it's a bit loud. Basically, so I was thinking we could get Mackey's tonight. Had a Big Mac on my mind all day, and delivery fee on the app is now from 99p. So, you in? Of course you are. Ha, love you. Bye.
Exclusively on the McDonald's app. 18 plus. Service fee and small order fee may apply. Participating restaurants. Serving times and T's and C's apply.
Kick off live on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk.
Initiate adrenaline pumps. Kick off live on Talksport.
It's an air of disbelief around the Amex from the home fans. They still are trying to get over that penalty, and the referee is going to feel it in the second half if Brighton don't turn this around in the second half. Let's get those half-time odds with Ladbrokes.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Get a free bet every week of the season and a big boost every day. That's Ladisfaction. Minimum £5 bet. Conditions apply. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
And right now you can get Brighton to win at 18-5. The draw is 12-5, and Bournemouth, who lead 1-0, to win 8-11. Kara Mitoma to score any time was 3-1. That's now been boosted to 4-1. And if you fancy Bournemouth to score again, Evan Nielsen to score the second goal, 9-1. That was the latest odds with Ladbrokes. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Get a free bet every week of the season and a big boost every day. That's Ladisfaction. Minimum £5 bet. Conditions apply. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
Now Spurs are 11th in the Champions League table, a point off top 8, and they host Borussia Dortmund tomorrow night live on Talksport. Dortmund second in the Bundesliga, and alongside Spurs on 11 points in the Champions League table. So a big game, and some say it could be Thomas Frank's last game as Spurs manager. He's been speaking tonight ahead of the match.
You all search for answers. You ask me for answers, shy for answers. It's not like why are we not scoring? Why is it not dropping for us? Why are we not putting to the top corner? Why is that sometimes a little bit you're in that spell where it's not going your way? That's part of it. Are you still working hard? Are you still trying hard? Are you still believing? Which I see signs of clearly in every game. And then, of course, I think even the best coach in the world, Pep Guardiola, say, I'm nothing without my players. I'm nothing without the best players available. I think it's fair to say they haven't been available enough at the same time the whole season, which makes it a little bit more tricky. But hey, no problem. I'm happy to take the blame as long as everyone support the players.
Interesting from Thomas Frank. It's your old club, Danny Murphy. Spurs, you're going to be there with us for Talksport tomorrow night, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see how they cope with the pressure, the players, because it is pressure. They've started too many games poorly. It's okay playing well second half when you're losing. Got nothing to lose. Every player tell you it's easier when you're losing because the shackles come off. The fans are already, gone against you. What else can you do? But at the start of a game, who's brave enough to get on the ball, to play forward, to beat their man, to make things happen, to lead? And too often in games recently, first half against West Ham, awful. First half against Villa in the FA Cup, I was there, awful. You've got to turn up, and especially at home. Irrelevant, it doesn't matter if your form's been bad, you've got to show some courage and character and responsibility. And who've they got? Who've they got that can really give them that in the middle of the park? I'm not so sure.
Alex Crook, our chief football correspondent, has come up with a story today that some of the players, it's believed, are not having Thomas Frank. They're not believing in what he wants them to do, and usually we know how that story ends up. How do you see it going?
It's possible. Some, doesn't always mean they're true when you hear these things, but I've been in dressing rooms where the lads have lost belief in what the manager's doing. But
how does that manifest itself on the pitch? Is it do they down tools, perhaps?
No.
I'm not saying Spurs have down tools, but does it look like it?
Physically, I think there's a drop-off sometimes when you're not on board with what you're being asked to do. I still think you try and do it. You try and do what the manager wants, but you don't do it as willingly, and you're not as comfortable because you're overthinking. It can manifest in a lot of ways, really, but ultimately it means the players aren't playing with their natural instinct and freedom. I'm not sure I believe that. I've watched Tottenham a few times, and even though they've ended on the wrong side of results, I've not seen a lack of trying and a lack of willingness to do the yards and put it in. I just think there's been a lack of quality and a real lack of creativity.
Tomorrow then we're back to Champions League action. Man City got a Bodo Glimt, that's at 5:45. It's live on Talksport 2, and then we've got a couple of games for you. Spurs at Dortmund, join me at 7 on Talksport for that, and on Talksport 2 Inter Milan against Arsenal, who keep drawing 0-0. Players back out for the second half. And we'll await to see if there are any changes. But Danny Murphy, very quickly, Krupi, he's only 19. He's got a future, isn't he?
Oh, I like him. I like any player that makes me make silly noises.
You've become the master of that.
He's just got a real assured confidence about himself for such a young man, and lovely little touch, quick. We've seen he can finish when he gets chances. I think he's a little star in the making, yeah.
About to get underway. It's Brighton 0, Bournemouth 1, second half, live and exclusive on Talksport tonight with Danny Murphy and Sam Matchface.
Yeah, thank you very much. Interestingly, I mean, obviously this decision has divided opinion on the penalty, but listening to some of the analysis which has come through over the last sort of 10 minutes or so while we've been waiting for the second half to start, apparently the VAR believed that when Krupi when Adley goes into the challenge with Verbruggen does commit the foul because there's contact. We can see that on the thigh, but he thinks he can still, there's a possibility he can still get the ball. Now, having watched the replay, I'm not so sure about that. Here's Jimenez into the penalty area as Bournemouth look to start the second half on the front foot. It goes out of play. But because the VAR can't determine 100% that he's not going to get the ball, he has to say that the ball is still in play, so therefore the goalkeeper has committed a foul at a time where the ball is still in play.
Yeah, but I don't understand that, because if the goalkeeper comes running out and punches you in the face, even though you've just kicked the ball past the post, you still get a penalty.
Yeah, but this is a footballing action. I think that's the difference. That would be violent conduct. Well, anyway, I think technically, after drilling down to all of the rules, it is the right decision, even if some people are very uncomfortable about it. And certainly,
I just don't understand why. How can where the ball be relevant if he's kicked you in the thigh and brought you down? Whether you get the ball or not, it's still a foul, though, isn't it?
Because if you push the ball past the goalkeeper,
as long as
which
it's not
you're not going to get, and then you've run into him, there's a massive collision, you don't get a penalty for that.
You should. Because your touch might be heavy because of the speed he's coming out to get you.
Possibly, but that's not the way that it was seen, or is seen, in general guidance. But anyway, the penalty was given, it was converted.
But I don't think the fans watching it here were thinking that it shouldn't have been given because of the reason you just said.
A lot of people that I've seen on message groups are saying that the ball had already gone, basically.
Right.
Which wasn't which obviously the VAR is saying isn't the case. It was still alive. Anyway, the decision was given. It was converted. Fabian Herzia was furious about it and apparently sarcastically shook the hand of the referee when he came down the tunnel. Let's see what the fallout is a little bit later on.
See the immaturity of young managers. What can you do?
Well, actually, I was being told he is the most composed manager on the touchline when everybody else on his staff was losing their head to the decision. And he's the one who kept calm at the time. Here is Gomez steering the ball out towards the right-hand side. It's collected by Gruder, who tries to dance into the area. No changes for either team at half-time, and I think surprisingly no changes for Brighton at half-time.
Really surprised.
As they look to get the ball clear, Bournemouth from a brief Brighton attack. And Lopez wrestling with Senesi. He's gone down. And Gomez tries to get back on his feet. Senesi comes across. The ball spilled into the left fullback position. There was no foul there. And Gomez couldn't escape with it. But they've won the ball high up. And Mitoma's got it turning and feeding the ball down the left towards Gross. But it wasn't the best ball. Jimenez pinched it. And he runs up over the halfway line. And does brilliantly so to weave between two players. Plays it infield towards Krupi. Krupi speeding away. Good challenge that by Dunk. And it's turned over and cleared away. And Brighton look to attack at the other end. Good start.
Terrific play from Jimenez again, wasn't it? So positive. The fullbacks have both been. Well, he's got to get himself back in now.
Brighton have got to somehow get to grips with these wide players of Bournemouth because they're causing them all sorts of problems. Here on the far side, the right, Brugruda getting to the edge of the area, feeding it to Mitoma, tries to tee it up to the far corner, and he sort of side foot volleyed that ball towards the far corner, and he was only narrowly wide and just inches away from finding it. It was really good play from Mitoma, who popped it up with his left foot, and with his right foot tried to side foot volley the ball into the top corner. Didn't quite work out for him. It went narrowly wide and it's out for a goal kick.
Better from him though, wasn't it? Come inside off that left wing, pick it up from his other wide man Gruder. Clever little bit of play.
Brighton and Hove Albion 0, Bournemouth 1. The 2 11s then. Verbruggen in goal for Brighton in blue and white striped jerseys, blue shorts and socks, attacking the goal away to our left in the second half. Veltman, Van Hecke, Duncan Kadioglu. They're the back four. Hinshelwood and Gross in the middle of the park, with Gruda, Gomez and Mitoma behind Welbeck in attack. For Bournemouth, Petrovic is their goalkeeper. Jimenez, Hill, Senesi and Truffert. Cook and Scott in midfield, with Tavernier, Krupi and Adley, who won the penalty and had his yellow card, which he was given for simulation, scrubbed off, and Evan Nilsson leading the line. They're in black and red striped jerseys with black shorts and socks, and attacking the south stand away to our right, which is only 2/3 full tonight. There are lots of empty seats here, and the atmosphere which Fabian Herzler praised in the build-up to the game when he was talking to us downstairs in the tunnel earlier, suggesting that the reason that their home form have been so stellar, only Aston Villa have won here in 2025, was to do with the 12th man. Well, the 12th man hasn't really showed up tonight so far.
Great little touch again from Krupi to get it to Evan Nilsson, who then gets fouled by Pascal Gross.
Well, he's a lively little player, isn't he? Eli Junior Krupi.
I feel a bit annoyed at myself that I should have known that rule a bit better.
Well, you know
I thought it was the opposite.
Don't beat yourself up. You're allowed one mistake.
No, you're not. I want to see it again, though.
Ball play over the far side.
I think if the ball's in play, once he's touched it past him and he gets fouled, it should be given full stop.
Which is what the assessment was. Throwing over on the far side, which Hill will take, and he's listed, he's sizing up for a long throw here. Petrovic, who is the organiser, has come out to the edge of the centre circle. In fact, beyond that, he's always on the halfway line as he's called Truffert into the middle. The ball is thrown in right underneath Bart Verbruggen, who actually spills that and pushes it behind. He was under pressure, but maybe should have caught it, and it goes off his gloves and out for a corner.
It's an unbelievable throw, isn't it?
Super throw, right towards the post.
He could have let it in, it wouldn't have counted. Is that right?
Yeah. If he had just stood out the way and it had gone in the goal, that would have been it. Goal kick. Here is the corner over on the far side, to be taken by Lewis Cook. He swings it in, right-footed, in towards the near post again. There's a little flick, comes back to Krupi. He couldn't get it under control first time. He turns, spins, hits it against Gomez, and then it rebounds to the far side. Cook back into the centre. Flick on by Evan Nilsson, away by Welbeck. Poor clearance by Gomez. It's an up and under which lands on the edge of the penalty area, which Hill wins. He nods it back into the box for a second time. Away by Hinshelwood. It's still pinballing around. Hill goes to strike it. It's picked up by Scott. He drives it forward, blocked by Veltman. No one can get hold of it at the moment, and then Veltman combines with Gomez to get it up towards halfway, but Scott dives in, wins a challenge. It bounces for Gruda. Gruda is dispossessed by Truffert. A little turn away by Scott, and then there was an infringement which has gone against the Bournemouth player, which Andoni Iraola can't quite believe, and Paul Tierney has stopped the game. But that was a quite chaotic moment there.
It was. It's Alex Scott's been really tenacious in the middle of the park. And Cook, to be honest, but won a lot of those balls. Anticipates danger well, gets his foot in.
Ball out to the far side. Van Hecke takes it off Verbruggen. Goes infield. It's found by initially Gross, but then he's dispossessed. The ball goes out of play. And Veltman wanted to take that quickly. No one really showing for him. Not enough movement in the forward line. And again, there's just a little bit more hunger and desire about Bournemouth when it comes to winning the ball in the middle of the park. That's better from Gomez, who pinches it off of Scott, who's gone down over on the far side. Referees allowed play on. Travelling through the centre circle from right to left is Gruda. Over the halfway he goes. Picks out Kadioglu, who finds the Japanese international Mitoma, who tries to tease his way past Jimenez. Jimenez sticks to his task brilliantly, and it's a corner kick, and Jimenez absolutely loved that. Jimenez has been right in the ear of Kaoru Mitoma, and he wasn't happy about it.
No need for that. I know it's probably how he winds himself up, but done your job, get back in position, save your energy.
Corner kick to be taken from the near touchline by Pascal Gross. And there is a clutch of blue and white shirts locked together on the edge of the 18-yard box. And now they start to spread out, their tentacles reaching all four corners of the penalty area. Gomez is at the far post. Mitoma on the edge of it, under the goalkeeper Welbeck. To the left of it is Kanioglu. It's going to be Gross who drifts the ball in from the right side. It's high towards the far post. Van Hecker is underneath it. There's contact there by the Bournemouth player on the back of Van Hecker, who goes down. Didn't look particularly clean, that. It goes out for a corner kick. The Brighton players aren't happy. They're saying that Van Hecker has been contacted with an elbow. VAR will certainly look at it, Danny Murphy.
They will indeed. So many bodies, so hard for the referee to see there. I'm not sure about the 4 rollovers from Van Hecker when he went down, but anyway, big tough centre half.
Thinks he's got something on his mouth, has he here? An elbow in the mouth? Let's have a look.
I think it's Alex Scott, isn't it?
It
challenging
is.
him with the back post.
He puts his left hand around his front and his arm leans into the back of his neck. I don't think there's enough in it for contact for a penalty, do you?
No. Nothing there.
Well, there's going to be a yellow card here for a member of Hertzler's staff. And I'm not surprised about that, because there's so many of them that have been kicking off to the 4th official.
More staff than players these days. Ridiculous.
Corner kick to be taken over on the far side. And we will eventually get back underway here, as the corner comes in from Pascal Gross towards the near post, flicked on by Hinchelwood, drops inside the box, claims of handball, drops for Dunk inside the area, a little back heel which doesn't come off. They're screaming for handball inside the penalty area, and again the referee shakes his head. Dunk protesting, Van Hecker putting his arm in the air, slapping his wrist here. The ball came in towards the near post, and it did hit the arm of Senesi, but his arm was tucked into his body, and it's never going to be given. You're listening to Brighton 0, Bournemouth 1 on Talksport with Sky Sports. Don't forget that with Now, you can stream all the Sky Sports action flexibly, like Brighton versus Bournemouth, live right now. Search Now Sports. I mean, that is a spurious appeal, isn't it?
They're clutching at straws, hoping the ref will even it up, but I said before, I think we've got the best refs in Europe still, and I think they're not going to be swayed by giving something silly to try and appease the supporters, that's for sure.
Gomez into Gross towards the back post, headed away by Hill. The ball loose inside the penalty area. Gomez with a shot, takes a deflection, might come out to Gross here, but again, Alex Scott rather unruffled, does a brilliant touch to send it into Jimenez, and Bournemouth get it cleared. I think he's been brilliant tonight, Alex Scott.
There's been some really strong performances up to this point, that's for sure.
But it is, as we know, only 56 minutes in on the clock, and throwing away leads is a habit that Bournemouth have got into over the course of the season so far.
Yeah, and they've come out strong, Brighton. They've dominated so far, really. Little half an effort when Krupa nearly got in there. Bit of good defending, I think, from Van Hecker, wasn't it? But Brighton, they can tell they've had a little rocket. And rightly so, because they were really poor after that first 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
Yeah, Bournemouth not to be trusted after taking the lead. They dropped 16 points from winning positions in the Premier League this season, more than anybody else in the division. Here is Kanioglu, out to the left, taken on by Pascal Gross, whose low ball into the near post is easily caught, and it's gobbled up by Petrovic and bowled out to the far side. I'm a little bit surprised as we get towards the hour mark. They still have yet to make a substitution here, Bournemouth. Danny Welbeck has just picked up a yellow card for breaking up a promising attack.
Well, it's a bit of it looks a little bit naughty because it's from behind, but it's clever from Senesi. I think he's probably milking it a bit just to stop the flow of attacks and do what so many teams do, just slow the thing down. It's good play, actually. Look how he comes out from the back, nice and confident. I think Danny Welbeck doesn't mean to tread on his heel.
Yellow card for Danny Welbeck, the experienced 35-year-old who has got one goal in his last 8 appearances, 7 in 7 previously, but he did score an FA Cup goal against his old club Manchester United, and that 1 goal in 8 was a penalty, so he'll be happy if he can get on the score sheet tonight. But they haven't really held the ball up well enough when it's come up to them, either he or Gomez, as is in evidence now. But the ball drops on halfway. Gruder trying to add a little bit of poise to proceedings, skips it over Truffert and gets down the right side. There's a bit of a wrestling match. He goes down, wants a free kick. Referee says no foul from Truffert, and Bournemouth are allowed to clear it. Up towards Krupi, lovely touch again, drops in, touches it beautifully, plays it out to the far side. Adley gets hold of it now, takes it in He seems as if to feel he was crunched now. The ball's turned over and Brighton bring it forward, no foul. Van Hecke charges forward into midfield. He then runs into Senesi. Senesi is guilty of barging into Van Hecke, draws a yellow card and a free kick. See, that noise that you made is absolutely acceptable, by the way. You can say stop it.
Oh, it was beautiful, wasn't it? Great skill from Krupi again. Ends up out with Adley, and he's wanting a foul on the left and didn't get it. Couldn't see the replay, but then Brighton get the ball on the turnover and come flying. I think it's Van Hecke comes flying out and trying to get his team on the front foot, and Senesi just stops him in his tracks. Gets a yellow card for his trouble. Now this is a dangerous position with the height and power that Brighton have.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what Pascal Gross does from this sort of range. We know he can hit it, but that's a little bit too far out, doesn't it? Feel that way? He's about 12 yards from the edge of the penalty area. He clips it in towards the far post. Dunkey's coming round the back, but there's a good strong header by Jimenez, who put it behind, and the goal kick is given.
Did well there, Jimenez, because he's obviously a lot shorter, but he sticks with him. Just puts him off enough so Dunk can't make his head up, the timing a little bit off.
Did it come off the chest of Dunk, or did it hit Truffert last?
Chest of Dunk.
And it goes out for a goal kick away to our left.
It'd be interesting to see not just the substitutions Herzl made, but whether he actually changes tactics.
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes, personnel's one thing, but tactics too can really mess another team up, especially when they're quite comfortable in the way they're set up. And it's not like Brighton don't have lots of different options and players who are capable of playing different ways.
What would you do?
I'd probably try and play try and get two strikers up the top, occupy the two centre-halves, and get a 10 behind them. So maybe go to a 3-5-2. Or even more of a 4-4-2, because at the moment they're not causing Bournemouth many problems. And although Gomez is trying to support Welbeck, he's not a striker, is he?
3 changes incoming, and it's going to be Minte, Baliba, and Jorginho who come on for Brighton in the next few minutes of the game. 61 on the clock, right on the hour mark. Throwing on the near side for Bournemouth, who lead by a goal to nil. It's not been a welcoming place for the Cherries over recent seasons. Brighton have won 5 of the last 7 meetings across both venues, but here at the Amex, they've won the last 4 successive games against Bournemouth, the best winning run in this fixture since 1934, when they were both in Division 3 South. A lot of their meetings were in the 3rd tier of English football, now very much in the top flight. Both of them with a secure presence in the Premier League. But Bournemouth leading here by a goal to nil, going to have to deal with a different threat now. Carlos Baliba just putting on his Brighton jersey as the ball is thrown down the right, and then it's given as a straight out of play and away for a Brighton throw, and it's with Bruggen away to our right hand side, and they look to build from the back here at 1-0 to Bournemouth on Talksport. Start of a week of big commentaries, including Champions League action tomorrow. Danny Murphy's going to be at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium for the visit of Borussia Dortmund. What a game that is looking as if it's going to be. Thomas Frank's team on Talksport tomorrow.
Tough team to be playing that when you need a result.
Niko Kovac's done a really good job there this season, second in the Bundesliga. Inter Milan Arsenal is at 8 o'clock. That's on Talksport 2. And Bodo Glimt against Manchester City is a 5:45 kickoff. That's on Talksport 2 tomorrow. Got 2 games on Wednesday night, 2 games on Thursday night from the Europa League as well. And then Friday night Championship football returns. And then Saturday we're at West Ham versus Sunderland on Talksport, and then round the grounds with Adrian. Lovely little turn and twist by Mitoma. Good balance to get away from Jimenez, and then he feeds the ball into Pascal Gross, who's down the left side by the byline. He stops it, comes back. He gives a little back heel to Mitoma, who's crossed towards the far post, reaches. Well, it should have reached Gruder, but it just went past him after it missed Welbeck. It goes out to the far side, and now Gruder has to start again. He goes down into the penalty area, looking for Welbeck, tries to slide it through the 6-yard box. Senesi is there. Gruder keeps it alive. It's scissor kicked away by Krupi, out to the far touch, then goes out for a throw. 3 changes there. Mitoma, Hinshelwood and Gruder coming off. Ruter, Baliba and Minte coming on. What do you make of those changes?
Yeah, I think that's probably about right. It'd be interesting to see if Ruter goes up alongside Danny Welbeck or whether he goes on the right and he keeps the same system. They'll be starting to worry a little bit, Bournemouth, because they're struggling to get out and have any attacks now. They're just sitting in, and you need a nice little balance. You can't just defend for the last half hour. You're going to have to try and be a little bit more attack-minded and a bit confident on the ball to release that pressure and not just sit in and hold what you've got.
Good touch, Matoma into Kadioglu, back to Gross, and then Kadioglu again on the left edge of the area. He feeds the German Gross once again, and now Dunk comes up and joins the attack. And then Gross will give it back to Jean-Paul Van Hecke, who runs over the centre circle, feeds the ball to the right. Gruder trying to turn under pressure from Truffert. It goes into Hinshelwood, who fires it down the middle of the pitch looking for Welbeck, but it wasn't close enough to him, and it's away by James Hill. And it goes all the way back to Verbruggen, away to our right-hand side, and it's still 1-0 to Bournemouth. There might be a little change here. Update pending we've got on our little list, which means that Diego Gomez might well be the one who is replaced. So we'll just have a quick look at this in just a second instead of Brian Gruder. Here is Mitoma out on the left-hand side. It's collected by Gross, who tries to twist his way from Jimenez, and then a little back heel almost worked for Mitoma, but he ran out of room. It was difficult. Jimenez is getting a bit of stick from the Brighton fans away to our right, and he's waving it on, saying, come on, lads, if you want to have a go at me, go for it. Minte on for Gruder is the confirmed substitution. That's the first one. And the second one is Belieber, and I think that's going to be for Hinshelwood. Yes, it is. And it's a welcome return from Africa Cup of Nations duty for Belieber, who is constantly linked with a move away. And since he's been gone, AFCON results actually have been solid without him. The only defeat in 6 matches coming at Arsenal. For his part, he had a decent tournament in Morocco, really. Started all of Cameroon's games. And ended up going out in the quarter-finals. I think he'll probably leave in the summer for huge money, but he's going to perform for Bournemouth, for Brighton, until the end of the season. Gomez off and Jorginho on is the final change.
Yeah, it looks like Ruter is going to go and play much closer to Welbeck.
Yes, Jorginho Ruter, who's asked to be known as Jorginho, but his surname is Ruter. Evan Nilsson has gone down off the ball after a collision with Van Hecke. The referee has stopped the game because it's a head injury. Be interesting to see how Bournemouth respond to those substitutions, because Minte is going to provide a lot more pace and directness on the right-hand side in comparison to Gruder. He is a different option, Jorginho Ruter, in comparison to Gomez, who's very sort of technical and industrious. Dunk has just been accused of leaning on Evan Nilsson, who's now coming off to get treatment on the near side after a head injury. Was there much in that?
I didn't really. I was watching the conversation between Areola and fourth official. Didn't see the replay, but he obviously wouldn't go down if he didn't do it or not. But the silly thing is, if you're all right, you don't want to be going down, because then you've got 30 seconds.
03717223344 is the number to call if you want to get through to the sports bar. Jamie O'Hara and Carlton Cole on duty tonight behind the bar. And tomorrow morning, Ali McCoist and Gabby Agbonlahor, and the 2023 Conference League winner, former West Ham right back Vladimir Sofau, will be live on Talksport Breakfast with Ali McCoist and Gabby Agbonlahor tomorrow morning. I do hope they ask him about getting the bus to the training ground when he was first at West Ham. Here is Belieber into Dunk, across towards Kadioglu. It wasn't a great pass, and it's given it to Tavernier, and Belieber's going to try and force him wide here. He does brilliantly to shepherd him down the outside, but across comes Belieber, does brilliantly, nicks the ball and turns it back in field.
Yep. It's the strength, pace, awareness there from Belieber.
It's good reading of the game as well, wasn't it? He knew when to make the intervention.
Yeah.
Van Hecke charges forward into Bournemouth territory, down the right, looking for an equaliser here on Talksport with 22 minutes to go. Lovely little skip by Minte into Van Hecke inside the area. He crosses the ball, not the best of deliveries. Bounces back out of the box after Scott's clearance, and then Van Hecke tries to re-centre it, and it's cleared away by the same player up towards the halfway line. Brighton 0, Bournemouth 1 on Talksport. Hasn't been a particularly chaotic encounter, what we were expecting here. There's usually always goals involving Bournemouth, but Belieber has just shrugged Alex Scott off the ball. His strength, his power, his running. He moves it out to the left-hand side. He feeds Matoma edge of the area. He gets it back towards Gross. Gross tries to make room for the shot. It takes a deflection as he hits it off hill. It goes out for a corner. But the impetus that Belieber gives them in the middle of the park just changes the emphasis.
It does. Tavernier's down. He did look dead on his feet after that last run, but you're right about Belieber. He's just got that presence, hasn't he? You know, he's just a powerhouse in the middle of the park. He's got good feet, can go past people as well. You know, he's got a good mixture to his game.
Ryan Christie's only made one Premier League start this season because of injury. Does look as if he is going to be called upon here by Andoni Iraola. Tavernier looks to be injured, and that is a real problem for them. The last thing they want is to have a weapon like that.
Looks like they're making a couple.
Taken off them after the sale of Antoine Semenyo, so they are going to have to make a couple. Ryan Christie is one of those.
You see how the lads haven't got their shirts on and ready and stuff? You weren't allowed to do that when I was playing.
Well, you'd get told off?
You get fined massive and you wouldn't get put on. If Gerard Houllier turned around and you weren't ready, he'd put someone else on.
Would he really?
Yeah. And the lads learn quick.
Well, they were warming up as well down the touchline. It's 15 for 15 according to the fourth official, who can't work his board. It's 16 for 15 fella if you need a little bit of help. That's better. Well done. And on comes Adam Smith to take his place. And then Ryan Christie is going to come on. And I hope he's not going to take the place of Krupi.
No.
Oh, he is. Ryan Christie on for Krupi.
It's a strange one.
I'm surprised by that.
Well, we don't know if he's got carrying anything or...
He went down about 5 minutes ago. He should have gone over on the far side. They told him to go off over on the far side, and he's come off on this side, and as a result of that, he's going to get a yellow card.
What?
He's getting a yellow card because he went off the pitch at the wrong juncture. He was supposed to go off on the far side. They asked him to. And Christie gets onto the pitch for the final 19 minutes of the game. Corner kick, far side. First bit of defending to do. They've changed two players at a corner kick, which is interesting. Obviously, Tavernier was already down. But Christie coming on as well for Krupi. It's a change, really, for Bournemouth. Here is the corner. Gross floating it in, looking for Matoma. It's headed away by Senesi, who met that brilliantly. The idea is to sort of fly that into Matoma, who's running from the edge of the penalty area, but Senesi read it as well.
He did. Great defending, because it's not just the header, it's the reading of that pass.
Matoma in behind on the left-hand side, trying to keep the ball in play. He just about stops it from going out for a goal kick. It goes for a throw-in. It's currently Brighton 0, Bournemouth 1, and for the latest odds you can head to Ladbrokes, where right now you can get Brighton to win the game at 7-1. The draw is 12-5. Bournemouth are 2-1 on to win the match, and that's all thanks to Ladbrokes 18+B gambleaware.org. And Brighton have just sort of shown how deep their squad is here by making these changes. Can they influence the outcome of the match? In fact, a lot of people I was talking to of a Brighton persuasion this week were suggesting to me that it's probably the best squad they've ever had. If there's one department they probably don't have enough firepower, they've got Danny Welbeck. They don't really have an out-and-out alternative. Obviously, Simas was injured early in the season. They do have the Greek forward, the young 18-year-old Charlie Lampos Kostoulas, but he's not really...
For all the money they've spent, they should have a more renowned striker. I agree with that.
And they've got Ruter, who's on the pitch now.
Yeah, but he's more of a 10, and he plays off the wide as well sometimes. He likes dropping deep and getting on the ball to feet.
They've got a lot of players in those sort of positions, sort of good creative players, but not the real killer puncher.
And I'm surprised, actually. The system's very much the same. Ruter's dropping in, into that pocket. He's now going forward, but he's not standing up there with Welbeck. It's not a 4-2-4 or a 4-4-2, whichever way you want to look at it. So the system's the same.
17 to go. Here is Belieber, one of the changes, across to Van Hecke, who's been driving forward with the ball at his feet quite a lot in the second half, and he's done that again here. His quality when he gets into the advanced positions hasn't been good enough, though, and that's easily defended by Bournemouth. Now they break down the right again, and it's on to Minte, who's trying to take on Truffert. Truffert nudges it away from him, and then Minte gets it, shrugs him off, runs to the edge of the area. It takes a deflection on the way through, and then a little glancer from Christie, and it goes all the way through to his goalkeeper, but that was quite assertive from Yankuba Minte.
I like that. doesn't always work when you try and do something positive, but took responsibility.
Jimenez, the right back at the other end for Bournemouth, getting on the end of a long kick out by Jordan Petrovic. He cuts in on his left foot and then balloons the ball behind into the Bournemouth fans, who have made the rather long journey, I must say, from Bournemouth to Brighton. I mean, they're both in the south coast, but they're a long way apart. Adley's down. It's his first Premier League start tonight, and he's got cramp.
Well, that's why I thought, because you said it was his first start, he's put a lot of work in on that left side, but he's a young lad, nervous energy as well, that can happen. And then he took Krupi off, and I thought, Adley would have been more understandable, I should say, but they're making a change, you can see down in front of us.
What did you make? What noise did you make when you saw Krupi coming off?
Let's not go there.
Yeah, let's not get creepy about Krupi. Here is Dunk, deep inside his own half, flicking the ball out towards the far side. It's a lovely, brilliant, elevated long pass into Minte, who gets to the right edge of the area, goes on the outside, gets to the byline, pulls it back into the 6-yard box, and Welbeck can't get there. Senesi goes away and manages to clear it for Bournemouth. It was a really good move from the home team, and in particular for Yankuba Minte, who's made an impact.
Yeah, Minte's a handful. Trufair's done well actually tonight, but he's going to be tested now these last 15 minutes, 20 minutes, that's for sure. He's got to get some help from Adley in front of him.
Halfway line is Pascal Gross, who travels down the left into Mitoma. Mitoma back towards the left side of the centre circle. Finds Dunk. Dunk coming forward for Brighton. Van Hecker into Veltman. Belieber looks for the return, actually was squeezed out by Evan Nilsson, who's managed to turn it over and now runs at the Brighton defence down the right side. He's dragging the ball to the right. Jimenez have made a run in front of him, didn't get the ball, and now he is cream crackered, and he's standing on the edge of his own penalty, on the edge of the Brighton penalty area, not fighting to get back. The ball is played out towards the right-hand side. It's picked up by Minte. Minte goes past Trufair and then tries to get to the byline, gets into the penalty area. Trufair gets back at him, and then Scott will bring it clear, but Van Hecker crunches in with a tackle. And that's going to be a yellow card for Van Hecker, and he's already been booked. Well, Van Hecker gets a yellow card, and I thought it was booked in the first half, Van Hecker. Apparently not. He's not going to get a yellow card. And he's a lucky boy, I think. I thought it was booked in the first 45 minutes.
I don't know what he's moaning at, because he's lunged in. It is a yellow card.
It's definitely a yellow card. Kostulas coming on for Danny Welbeck. And that's the latest change. And the 19-year-old goes straight up front. Kostulas on to lead the line for the final few moments. Danny Welbeck not looking as happy as he was when he left the pitch at Old Trafford the other week.
I'm just looking at Jimenez now. He looks absolutely exhausted. I don't know why he was doing that 60-yard overlap when you 1-0 up with 15 minutes to go.
Well, they've slightly changed and tweaked the system here, haven't they? Because they put Smith at right back, and he's playing a little bit further forward now as a more attacking right-sided player, Jimenez. It's almost a little bit like they've gone to a sort of back three, because Smith will be the right back that tucks in if Trufair moves on down the left-hand side. There's another problem on the far touchline for Adley, and he needs a bit of treatment. And he's rolling around getting... Well, he's got cramp, and Minte's got across to help him. They've got to get a change on here, surely. They are eventually going to make a change, and Fode Diakite is going to come on.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they do, isn't it? Because he's obviously a centre-half, whether they shut up shop now and go to a back 5-4-1.
Well, off comes Adley, on comes Diakite. You're listening to Brighton 0, Bournemouth 1 on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk.
It's amazing how you remember all that stuff. Honestly, it's really good.
Do you like that?
Yeah,
well, I remembered that, but obviously got confused that Van Hecker had been booked.
You're allowed a mistake.
Here is the header away from midfield by Pascal Gross. It's into the path of Trufair. Across goes Minte to scrap for it. It's picked up by Ryan Christie, who travels down the left touchline. And then Truefair tries to get into the penalty area. He plays against the legs of Van Hecker. And it goes out on the far side and away for a corner kick to Bournemouth. I think this is the first time we've seen Bournemouth inside the final third of Brighton's half for probably 20 minutes.
Well, I've played in games like this where you've been struggling away from home. You get a goal, and then the game wears on in the second half, and you just protect, because you're desperate to get that first win on the road for a while.
Here's the corner. It's taken short. Scott's got it back edge of the area. Christie, and then on to Cook, and then all the way back to the halfway line.
No.
It's a bit of a waste, really, for Bournemouth, whose away form has been pretty poor. 9 games in all competitions without a win. The last time they won on the road was the 30th of August at Spurs, and Danny will be at Spurs tomorrow night.
I will. Pressure game.
Big game for Thomas Frank, who's under pressure. Has lost a lot of home games, especially to teams that Tottenham don't want to lose to. West Ham, you don't want to lose to them. You don't want to lose to Chelsea. And then, of course, the away game at the Emirates, the North London derby, which was just an aberration, really. Here is Ruter. He foists the ball forward into the right channel, but he doesn't quite get it under control, and it was a bit wild, really, and it goes out of play and away for a throw-in deep inside Bournemouth territory. And Andoni Iraola now, I think, will be thinking about all those drop points from winning positions over the course of the season, 16 of them. That should encourage Brighton. Remember, they've conceded 29 Premier League goals in the last 6 games.
Well, it's interesting as well, looking at what he's done, because Hill has pushed himself just in front of that back four. He hasn't gone to a back five. He's gone into midfield to try and add a bit more steel there, but I'm not sure that's the...
Here is Minte down the right-hand side, fed by Ruter. He's got the beating of Truefair, gets into the penalty area, tries to produce a cross. Now, he felt as if he was pushed in the back there and almost went down. Didn't. Tried to get the cross in. It took a deflection, goes out for a corner, which they take quickly. Over on the far side, delivered into the box, headed away by Hill. Should go out for another corner on this near side. It does. And that was a quick, smart piece of play by Yankuba Minte.
It was really quick, and it was a brilliant spot from Hill, actually, to get back in there and make the header.
Terrific from the Brighton forwards. They putting the pressure on. I think they probably deserve a goal now, Danny, really, after all the work they've done to get back into the game.
They've dominated without making any really
big chances.
No.
Yeah. 1-0 to Bournemouth. Towards the far post it goes. Petrovic came out and tried to punch and made contact with Van Hecker, just about got hold of the ball, and it went out of play.
Good goalkeeping
and out for another corner kick far side. It was a bit of a mess inside the box there. It was almost sneaking at the far post, the corner. Back to the edge of the area it goes. Kadioglu holds it up into the area, away by Diakite, comes out to Matoma and miskicks it on the edge of the area.
He might have meant to.
He's allowed one mistake. Here is Ruter down the left-hand side, looking to take on Smith, who's brought him down. That's going to be a yellow card and a free kick to Brighton. Down the side of the penalty area, 4 yards from the byline. A dangerous position for them to create something in the 83rd minute of the game.
Yeah, he needed a bit of help there. He's got to bring him inside. He's a lefty, so bring him inside. But he needs someone talking to him on the inside of him, say, I'm here with you. Show him in. Poor place to give a free kick away. All that space now on the edge of the box they're giving up, and then all the giants in there standing on the keeper.
If it goes to one of those big hitters on the edge of the box, Baliba is there, Matoma is there, they can crack them. Gross looking as if he's going to try and shape this in towards the far edge of the 6-yard box for everybody to try and get on the end of. He does it into the near post instead, comes back out to Minte, who strikes it, and it's pushed over the top by Petrovic, who watched it all the way and managed to just about prevent it from sneaking past him and into the net. It was a super strike from Minte, got over the ball brilliantly, kept it down superbly. It went straight down the throat of Petrovic, but it came through a crowd of players. It's a good save.
It's a brilliant save, and technically it's an unbelievable strike from Minte. He was half slipping as he hit it and still managed to control it. It's a beautiful strike.
Here's the corner to be taken far side by Gross once again. And he will try to get it to the back edge of the area. It's in towards... it's poor again. It's straight at the first man, and Christie manages to clear it. And Minte gets it back to his goalkeeper. And they've got to make the most of these situations because there's only 6.5 minutes remaining, Danny.
Yeah, the subs have made a difference for sure.
Up it goes to Van Hecker. The flick on into the penalty area is met by Diakite. He comes out towards the near side, and then Smith kicks it out and away for a throw-in for Brighton. Didn't quite have the James Hill weapon to toss the ball into the box from there.
No, but they've got to be patient now. Although there's 7 minutes left, don't just keep probing. They're getting in some really good positions. Keep getting numbers in the box. Bournemouth will get more defensive, more deep. Here we go again.
Minte, who's got them in a bit of a flap, sends it into the centre. It's taken down on the edge of the box by the young Greek forward, Kostoulas. Kostoulas gets it back into the path of Pascal Gross. They go wide to the left of Mitoma. Now Kanioglu. Back infield it goes to Van Hecker. Van Hecker out to the right. Minte again now, eyeing up a potential crossing opportunity. Van Hecker goes down inside the area as the ball comes into the area, comes to Dunk, and then Van Hecker strikes it. And he hits it right over the top of the crossbar.
Yeah.
He just rushed his effort.
He did. He was falling a little bit. It was a tired strike. Good numbers in there from Brighton. Really committing men forward now. As it falls down there, just a little bit to the side of him and tries to snap a little volley, but Bournemouth have got to be really cute, because if they do have a turnover, Brighton are really committing, and as they should, rightly so, throwing men forward. If they can string a couple of passes together, they'll be in the other end. But it's a huge 5, 7, 8 minutes, whatever it is, for both teams in many ways.
Well, it's going to be huge, isn't it, for Bournemouth, because
they'll go level with Brighton.
They'll go level on points with Brighton, but it just gives them a massive distance between the relegation zone and them. And I think that probably means it spells an end to any thought of being dragged in. But for Brighton, it's another missed opportunity to close the gap on those at the top of the table. It's so very congested in that midpoint of the Premier League table. It's a weird season in effect.
It is. There's been some weird results this weekend. This would probably be another one that people wouldn't expect. I have to say, I like Van Hecker. He's a good footballer, but he doesn't half dive around a lot. Rolling around, looking for fouls and holding his face, doing 7.
Not for you?
No, not any big tough centre half who plays in my team. You don't want that. I know players try and get fouls and all that now, but it's over exaggerated. It's too much.
Well, if it stays like this, there will be just 6 points between Manchester United in 5th and the team in 13th, who will be AFC Bournemouth, which shows you just how congested it is in that middle area of the Premier League table. 1-0 to Bournemouth. Marcus Tavernier with a penalty after 32 minutes separates the two teams. Brighton have the ball inside their own half. A little bit of juggling from Belieber. A bit of street football there. Caught it on his chest, pulled it down, held it. Saw it back to Ruter, and then it goes out to the far side, the right. And Veltman, they need a late goal. A bit of inspiration here, Brighton. How is it that there's been 37 goals scored in Bournemouth's last 7 matches since the 0-0 with Chelsea on the 6th of December? We've only had one here. Here is Brighton coming forward with Kostoulas. He tried to feed it out to Minte, but Minte, well, for whatever reason, Kostoulas couldn't squeeze him the ball. He just got a little bit rabbit in the headlights there.
Poor from both teams there. Great opportunity for Brighton. And also when the turnover, it was Hill, who looks a bit tired in the middle of the park, just couldn't see the right pass and over-hit it, gave it straight back to Brighton.
Here is Kostoulas. Back to Kanioglu. Dunk. Then into Van Hecker. Out towards the wide right-hand side. It'll be only a second victory in 14 games for Bournemouth. The first win on the road since they beat Spurs in August in the Premier League. Down the right-hand side they go with Minte again, looking for a chance to cross. It's blocked by Scott and goes out for a corner. 88 minutes on the clock. Looks as if Pascali is going to come on.
You'd think they'd get him on for this corner. Big centre half.
Yeah, get him on, try and attack maybe this delivery that's coming in from Pascal Gross. One last opportunity for Van Hecker and for Lewis Dunk to try and get on the end of it. Well, there's a bit of pushing going on inside the penalty area. The referee's got to go and have a chat about it. Oh, he's done that. Now we can play.
Yeah, I know why they do that now. I've moaned about that for a while, but I do know why they do that.
Oh, good. You can enlighten us in just a moment. We're really on the edge of our seat. Here is Kanioglu, edge of the area. Right-footed, driving towards the near post. It's away by Senesi. It's further clear by Evan Nilsson. Touched Christie by Canioli. And it's played out by Minte towards the far side. He tries to get into the penalty area. He can't quite do that. And before he manages to release it, across comes Truefair and he clears away. Kanioglu for Pascali is going to be the change here in the final few minutes. hasn't quite worked for Kostoulas since coming on, has it? I mean, he's looked a little bit sticky in possession.
Yeah, the reason the officials do that is because part of their remit is to prevent situations happening before they evolve and turn into something that needs. That's true. It is. And I actually couldn't argue the point. Makes sense.
Yes, it does make sense. That sounds like one of those explanations. Had I have given it, you'd be ribbing me for days.
I would.
Yeah,
I would. But it's actually true. So,
talking of things that you should rib people about. Was there contact over on the far side on Alex Scott, or has he just gone down rather spuriously? And now there's a bit of an issue with Veltman.
I don't know if he's the type of lad. I'd be surprised.
That's what I thought that initially. And there was a bit of a reaction from Veltman and the crowd over on the far side. I'd like to see a replay of it because the ball had gone out of play for a throw-in midway inside the Bournemouth half over on the far side. The accusations was that he went down and there was a...
Yeah, he caught him with his hip. I don't even think he meant to, you know.
Was it a glancing blow?
Yeah, he did catch him though. He ran past. He might have just...
Well, he certainly caught him the second time when Veltman tried to pick him up. Scott tried to pull him back over and trip him, and then he fell over and kicked him in the face. 8 minutes of added time.
8? Woo!
That's a lot, isn't it?
It is a lot. Where's that come? Well, it's been, 6 subs? 6, 7 subs? So what's 30 seconds?
Mitoma back to Biscali, out to the far side. Lovely head down towards the Greek defender. Overhead kick, brilliant. Kostoulas, lovely, beautiful overhead kick to equalise for Brighton in stoppage time. The young 19-year-old getting on the end of a Van Hecken knockdown with a super overhead kick, which again results in an equaliser for Brighton, and Bournemouth throwing away yet another lead. Well, they've been knocking at the door, Brighton, and finally they have opened it. It's 1-1.
What a goal. Probably deserved it. Second half, started pushing. That is beautiful. As it bounces down, chests it up for himself, decides to give it a go. Keeper's got no chance. Wonderful goal.
Brilliant chest up by Kostoulas. Athletically rises in the air, catches it beautifully with the outside of his right boot. It nestles into the corner. Brighton are level, and it's nothing more than they deserve, Danny Murphy.
Absolutely. And what a great moment for the young lad. I'm not sure if he meant to hit to the outside of his foot or not. It doesn't really matter. The audacity to try it, the athleticism to get himself up there. They've been pushing, they've been probing, the subs have made a difference. Bournemouth have been hanging on, they haven't done enough as an attacking force in this second half, look tired.
Minte was in an offside position as he tries to play the ball down the right hand side for Ruter. Well, again, it's going to add to it. It's going to be another 2 points that they've dropped from winning positions. That's 18 points from winning positions this season that Bournemouth have dropped, and Andoni Iraola is grimacing and shaking his head.
I think, to be honest, if you'd have offered him a point beforehand, coming here to Brighton with their record at home, he'd have been more than happy. But conceding late goals is never a good thing. But they have looked leggy. They've been on the back foot for a while now, and they've not been able to replicate that energy and that creative element to the game in the first half.
Well, they went for 120 gruelling minutes against Newcastle.
Yeah, they did.
9 days ago. But they have got a very light squad. And I think that's been in evidence from the fact that they've got Da Costa, Rhys Dottin, Sadie and Charlie George Stevens on the bench tonight. Here is Mitoma over on the far side, getting the ball off of Minte. Senesi just glancing over because Trufer has gone down. And they want an issue here.
Thing is, you don't want the trainer on because he'll have to come off for 30 seconds.
Well, actually, the medical staff were about to come on, and Iraola just turned around and said, no, stay off. They don't want to give him treatment.
Ooh.
But he did get a little glancing blow from Minte.
It wasn't a glancing blow.
It was a little bit...
he didn't mean it, but it was a full forearm in the face. They're sending him on for that reason.
Well, the medical staff are on. The fourth official is on the halfway line, but the two benches are still in discussion. Tommy Elphick is having a row with a member of the Brighton coaching staff. And, it's a little bit unnecessary, really, all of the histrionics. Tommy Elphick is getting a little bit frustrated. He's on the Bournemouth coaching staff, Tommy Elphick, former player. There's quite a few of them mouthing off at one another.
Oh, I love all that.
Do you?
Yeah, when I'm there doing it.
Yeah.
Not watching it from afar. But
were you a bit gobby when you were on the bench?
No, only I'd be responsive if somebody started talking a load of nonsense. They'd get it, yeah. But I think staff get more agitated than players. Some of the staff elevate themselves into a position where they think they can start shouting things and doing things to other people and dictating. There's so many staff now. There's so many people in the
There's a lot of
dugout
staff. A lot of staff.
Who all think their role is more important than it is.
Yeah. Jonas Schauermann is the man who got the yellow card earlier in the game. He's part of the coaching staff and he hasn't stopped gobbing off ever since he got the yellow card. He's one of the assistant coaches that Fabian Herzler brought with him from Germany, alongside Crofts and Daniel Nitschkowski. But Jonas Schaumann, wearing a baseball cap down in front of us, has been rather mouthy towards the Bournemouth bench. In fact, he sort of strayed into their technical area to make his point a little bit earlier on. Here is Jimenez down the right-hand side for Bournemouth as we're back underway here in the... we're in the 5th minute of stoppage time, but we've had another 3, so we're probably going to play at least another 5 minutes. Maybe that's a chance for someone to win this game. It's back by Cook into the path of Petrovic, who clears from inside his 18-yard box, up to Gross and into Boscali. Boscali back to Gross, who's just short of the halfway line. Belieber forward now, looks to get it to the right-hand side. Jimenez is struggling a little bit on the near side, but over on the far side, Minte has got hold of the ball, and Brighton are looking to try and find a way forward. 96 minutes on the clock. We're supposed to have 98, but we're going to have a few more. The ball is with Minte, sliding the ball into the path of Veltman, who's in behind Trufair here, down the right side. He looks to turn it back to Minte once again. Minte trying to run to the edge of the area, gets to the edge of the area, develops across to the far post. Mitoma heads it down. Boscali just sort of hits it and hopes, really. And it comes off the top of his boot and skies into the air and floats behind for a goal kick.
Minte's been terrific since
he has made a massive impact.
Surprised he didn't start, to be honest, although I know they've got plenty of options, but he's so difficult to handle when he's at it.
Veljko Milicevic is about to come on, an 18-year-old Serb who was on as a sub in the last game but hadn't played for a month before then. Big, tall defender.
It's got to be for Jimenez, hasn't it, surely?
He's got to add some height to that back line as they look to power forward here. Brighton at the end of the game looking to win it. And here is the goal scorer, Kostulas, onto Minte. Over on the far side. It's cut away by Trufair. It bounces into the midfield, but it's won by Brighton. And Ruter's got it back again. A tackle by Hill, but Minte's going to pick it up right side. Can he keep it in? Just about. He gets to the corner flag, guides it back onto his left foot, moves into the penalty area, looks for the winner with a cross into the box. It bounces up nicely for Belieber, who strikes it. It's blocked by Lewis Cook. And it deflects out into the left wing position. Mitoma back to Boscali into the near post. Belieber trying to slide the ball in at that near post. And Petrovic reacted just in time. Belieber didn't get enough on it. And Bournemouth survived.
They're hanging on, Bournemouth. There's so many of them look absolutely shot in terms of tiredness.
Header away by Diakite as again the ball is sent forward by Brighton down the left side. Boscali is just a little bit loose with his balls forward. Have gone out of play. There's a change here for Jimenez, who's wanders far away from the touchline before the board went up so that he could take as much time as possible. I mean, we didn't come down in the last shower. I think we've learnt what you were doing there. And on comes Milicevic.
Bournemouth fans showing their appreciation.
Well, he did well, actually, Jimenez.
He did. I mean, he's worked tirelessly and he's shown some really good ability on the ball, but for about 15 minutes he's been struggling, hasn't he?
Well, remember, this game was in the balance in the first half when Brighton started well. Bournemouth then got a grip in it. They got a penalty which was contentious, and the Bournemouth midfielder Marcus Tavernier converted despite the fury of the Brighton fans. for a long time in this second half, Bournemouth have really been hanging on.
Yeah, they have.
Brighton made a lot of changes, aggressive ones, which changed the nature of the game, and now they want to go and win it. And Fabian Hürzeler is not afraid to throw caution to the wind to try and win this game. And certainly that's what he wants to do. That's what they want to do.
Thing is, there's a difference between sitting in and soaking up pressure when you're not giving away chances. That's fine. But the longer it went on, the more the chances got better for Brighton. They were getting into much more dangerous areas, and they just didn't have the energy or the personnel to change it, to give them an attacking outlet. Bournemouth, they've actually worked tremendously hard, but Brighton definitely deserved the equaliser.
Yeah, the squad is so light, it looks fatigued, doesn't it? As Veltman sends the ball into the centre, it's cleared away by Hill, but it's a tired clearance, and they're inviting more pressure, and they look energised, Brighton, whereas Bournemouth look beat. We've got just a few seconds remaining of added time. Are they going to hold on here, Bournemouth, to what will be a precious point? Their form is awkward. It's 1 win in 14 in all competitions for Andoni Iraola. Has dropped another load of points here. Boscagli into the penalty area with a header. Ruter leaping and trying to head the ball goalwards when it wasn't really on. And it goes up into the air and into the arms of Petrovic, and they may well just survive here. And the referee is doing the 5-second countdown to Petrovic to make sure he releases the ball. He does it just in time. It goes forward down the Bournemouth right. A lovely take by Dunk out of the sky. Guides it back to his goalkeeper, and that will be the end of a rather hotly contested South Coast match between these two. And the Amex is usually the Seagulls' sanctuary, but the Cherries have stopped Brighton from finding any real momentum. They were looking for a third win in 4. They get a point, and they'll be absolutely delighted with that. First half definitely belonged to Bournemouth. Second half definitely belonged to Brighton. And the goal of the night belonged to the young Greek forward, Charalampos Kostoulas. His only start for the club was against Burnley back on the 3rd of January. His first goal for the club will be long remembered. A dramatic overhead kick which levelled this game up and means that the South Coast points are shared at the Amex Stadium. Full-time, Brighton 1, Bournemouth 1.
Yeah, Babis they call him, and it was a fantastic finish. Brighton 12th, 5 points off 5th, Bournemouth 15th, 3 points behind Brighton, 10 above the relegation zone. But Danny Murphy, what a goal. It's a beautiful goal. It's a brilliant finish. And I think all the Brighton fans who were fuming because of the penalty in the first half, in the end, can feel a little bit relieved that they didn't lose the game, but also that they saw a bit of magic.
And they also saw a team really give it their all in the second half to get back in and start creating chances and look like a side that had real quality. The substitutions made a difference. The goal was an incredible act of athleticism, bravery, somebody young willing to try anything. Because if it goes in the stand, you get the booze, not the booze, but the disappointment from the crowd. It's a phenomenal goal, and one he'll be probably watching 58 times before he goes to sleep tonight.
Yeah, and listen, I'd love that to be the talking point because it's a quality bit of football, but no doubt on the sports bar, 03717223344, there'll be a lot of chatter about VAR as well. In the end, from a football point of view, I'm glad that a VAR decision hasn't decided the game.
Yeah, I think, we were talking half-time about it and I didn't get my facts exactly right.
They're not booing you, by the way, they're booing Paul Tierney as he comes off.
So there's no argument about the contact on the player. It's where was the ball, could he have still got there, and they decided they couldn't determine that because of the distance from him to the ball. So if they can't determine it and can't know for sure, then it's the right decision.
Overall, Bournemouth had some really good spells in that game. In the first half, when they got to grips with it, after the first 10-15 minutes or so, they were really good. Brighton dominated the second half, and maybe you could look back and Fabian Hürzeler might think to himself, and obviously Sam's going to go and interview him, you'll hear it during the sports bar, but maybe you picked the wrong side, wrong 11 to start with.
You could argue that, yeah. You could argue that. That's the problem when you've got so many players competing and wanting to play, I suppose. But also that's the advantage of having them on the bench, because when you see it, you can change it. Bournemouth, for me, when they're all fresh and fit and they've got great energy, they've got some good creative players, they've got a lot of young players who look tired near the end, who probably haven't got the experience to manage the amount of minutes they've been playing recently over this busy period. They haven't got a great strength and depth, which isn't the manager's fault. So it was inevitable the last 20 minutes they did look really low on energy and fitness, and that's where Brighton really dominated. So I'd expect Bournemouth to do a bit of business in the next couple of weeks just to help the manager out and the other players.
I thought it was a decent game. Actually, thoroughly enjoyed it.
I did.
Had a bit of everything, didn't it? A bit of VAR controversy, high bit of quality for the equaliser for Brighton. Finished Brighton 1, Bournemouth 1. Time now for us to pick our man of the match with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
The Here For It hero on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it.
So, Danny Murphy, you might have heard a Brighton fan calling Bournemouth cheats. I mean, they went down a lot. They wasted a lot of time. Andoni Iraola, when his player had clearly been forearm smashed accidentally, telling the physios not to go on. I'd question whether that's a wise move and whether that's for the players' benefit or not. But who's your man of the match?
Good question. I was tempted to give it Minte for his impact when he came on. But I'm going to give it one of the Bournemouth players. I was obviously very impressed with Krupi, but I'm going to give it to Alex Scott. I thought he was everywhere. He left everything out there. He was good with the ball. Yes, he got tired near the end, but he was still getting back in position, heading things out, getting blocks in. I thought it was a really good performance from a good midfielder, and Senesi ran him close as well.
Alex Scott, who got clumped in the mouth, then kicked in the mouth in the same incident on the sideline, then got booed by the Brighton fans for having that unfortunate incident as well. You're not going to admit it to Jared Gillett, the VAR? No?
No.
Yeah, was it clearly and obviously not Jared Gillett? You sure?
Yeah, we can't give awards to officials for doing their job.
Definitely
He's
not.
doing his job.
Doing his job well or badly, you decide. That was our Here For It hero, man of the match from today's game with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.